work, man, and stay flat, okay?
Okay, I'm a flat earther.
I saw somebody in the live chat named Oh Lord, and they said, "Why are they calling me out by name in that song?" It's Oh Lord. That's funny. Which by the way, you can get that song, the song that was playing at the beginning of the stream, by buying the NonSequitur, the music album. You can get it on iTunes and Spotify, or for people who can't or don't want to buy it, you can also now listen to it on SoundCloud. Just search for Non-Sec Show in SoundCloud, and you can go and listen to it there for free. John, why don't you kick us off here tonight with your, as only you can open up the show.
What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Tonight we're going to be looking at some dumb shit from flat earther Nathan Thompson. So I hope you guys are ready for that.
I see that he's disproven gravity. This is epic news. I mean, this literally is like, he has to be getting ready right now for his Nobel Peace Prize. It's just, the awards are going to be amazing.
Well, yeah, and so this is on a channel that's not his, like on YouTube, because he apparently live streamed this particular video to his Facebook group, and somebody in his Facebook group put it on YouTube.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
As Terranism would say, interesting. Interesting.
Interesting.
So what we're going to do is we have come to the point now where I think it's safe to say that we have literally killed Flat Earth almost. It's to a point where it's hard to get, if not impossible to get, Flat Earthers willing to come in and defend their position. They're becoming much more comfortable either leaving comments after the fact or talking shit in the chat, which undoubtedly you will see tonight. But we're going to open it up, and we're going to go through Nathan Thompson's video and see how he disproved gravity. And then if there's any takers or anybody that is not hashtag bitchmade, which, by the way, you can also get that shirt in the merch shop at nonsexshow.com/merch. And we'll open it up and give you guys the opportunity to come in and explain to us why we should believe in the flat Earth. Do you think we'll have any takers, G?
Shit. I don't really know. I think we'll have some of the normal people that want to take us up, but like as far as anybody new or not as frequent, I don't think that we'll really have any takers. They're all bitch made.
I see in the chat someone says Kyle is a fag. Well, you are very observant, sir. This is a point in which I fully embrace. So thank you for pointing out truth in the chat. We always appreciate that. Okay, so Dave, shall we get to Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, he's just sitting on a couch.
Did you want to intro it, G, before we start talking?
Sure. So here's Nathan Thompson, full man beard, sitting on a couch, and he's doing a live stream in his Facebook group, where apparently he's going to tell us how gravity doesn't exist or gravity's fake or something like that. And I mean, it's just kind of one of those Gish Gallopy kind of videos, and so we'll stop it gradually as we go through it.
Sure.
To get in here, if you don't know who I am, my name's Nathan Thompson. I started this group, the official Flat Earth and Globe Discussion, and I've been really paying attention to everything that happens in here and all the arguments for globe and against globe and all the arguments for Flat Earth and against Flat Earth, and well, all the evidence leads to Flat Earth. But let's talk about gravity, because gravity is the biggest obstacle I think we have to overcome, because all these globe earthers believe that all objects with mass are attracting other objects with mass. What's up, Thomas Evans, my neighbor? Good to see you, bro. I love you.
Can we pause it for a second,
So-
Dave? You might want to turn the volume up too. People are saying it's a bit low, Dave, if you can. Number one, all evidence does not prove to a flat Earth. It actually points away from a flat Earth. We went through this a couple weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago with Daniel. Actually, it was a week ago. Man, it's been a long week. It has only been a week since we talked about Daniel Pratt. But they can't even get the experiments, like what they're doing. This guy took a ball and put it on something that spun it around and then dumped water on it. Like this is the level of experiments that they're willing to go to try to prove that the Earth is flat. Nathan Thompson does have a really good skill in bouncing a ball on a hammer. I'll give him that. He's very good at that. Proving the flat Earth, not so much.
No, I mean Nathan had all he has is bad arguments. Like that's all he has. And so this entire video he just writes off like the globe model as being ridiculous without actually showing how it's ridiculous. Like just listen to him talk about how we don't have evidence for mass attracting mass.
Great.
The science is that things rise and fall based on buoyancy and density. That's why raindrops fall and air bubbles in water rise. That's why heavy objects drop and balloons rise, is not because of any magical forces pulling you to ball Earth, but the fact that things fall at a constant rate, 9.8 meters per second. Hey, Robbie, good to see you, bro. I can't wait to see you in Denver. Everyone, if you're not going to the conference in Denver, make sure you buy your tickets now because it will sell out.
And may God have mercy on Denver's soul.
I know. This was before the Denver conference happened last year. You know, the one that Logan Paul went to and trolled everyone like really hard. Like, so like I like how he's just so excited about going there and speaking at it, and then that happened. It's just kind of like, this did not age well at all.
Not at all. That's gotta hurt. And irony is always good. Love irony.
So I'll be speaking there. Everyone's speaking there. Hey, Fred, good to see you, bro. Fred Schneider out in Kansas City. I love you, bro. So here's the science behind things rising and falling, guys.
Oh, can't wait.
9.8 meters per second is a constant rate of fall. Now, I've never met someone who believes in gravity that understands an inverse square law. Now, what an inverse square law states is that the closer an object gets to Earth, the stronger the gravitational force should be. So, and it's not slightly stronger, we're talking exponentially stronger. So just like Earth's curvature gets exponentially bigger, it's 8 inches the first mile, 32 inches the second mile, and by 3 miles, you're looking at 6 feet of curvature. What's up, Sean? Good to see you, bro.
Okay, pause.
So exponentially strong.
Okay. I don't think that he understands what exponential means. Like when he says it gets exponentially greater. Like it doesn't. There's no exponentials like in like the force of gravity equation. It's just was it the gravity constant times mass of one times the mass of other divided by the radius or the distance between the objects squared. That's not an exponential at all. And like the Earth's curve doesn't exponentially get like even more curvish or whatever. The 8 inches squared, 8 inches per mile squared, that makes a parabola. So obviously, the farther out you go, the less it's going to resemble a circle or like a sphere. And even then, those particular calculations work on perfect spheres, which the Earth is not a perfect sphere; it's an oblate spheroid. So you're like, I don't know, he's using a lot of mathematical terms here to make himself seem smart, but he's not actually smart.
Right. He is saying a lot of things without saying anything. And that's what a lot of them do. They have this tactic where they're going to give you a lot of words that sound technical. They're going to use formulas. They're going to use them wrong, but they're going to use formulas in order to try to bolster their claim, try to make it sound like there is some merit to what they're saying, but there's not. I don't know if he understands how exactly what he's talking about actually works. I really don't. Dave?
Stronger. So an object 2 miles away from Earth, once it gets to 1 mile from Earth, it shouldn't be twice as strong, the gravitational force. It should be 4 times as strong, the gravitational. And then you get to a half mile, and you're talking about 8 times stronger than it was at 2 miles. And so things fall at a constant rate. But not just that. They fall, and they continue to fall, and they continue accelerating until they reach terminal velocity. Okay? So explain to me how things are magically attracted to Earth and getting exponentially stronger of a gravitational force if all objects fall at 9.8 meters per second until they reach terminal.
Because it's 9.8 meters per second squared. Don't forget that little squared, buddy. Just saying. And terminal velocity is a function of atmospheric density. It is literally air resistance. If there was no atmosphere, you would keep accelerating.
Well, right, you would keep accelerating, but like the acceleration, I believe, is a derivative of velocity, or I think you take the integral or whatnot of, thank you, honey, of velocity, and you get acceleration. I don't know, my math's a little fuzzy on that, but anyways, so he's talking about terminal velocity and he's talking about acceleration, which are two different things. Like, it gets to a point where the acceleration no longer continues accelerating. That's the 9.8 meters per second squared, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's due to the like Dave said, it's due to the air resistance, but so that keeps it from accelerating faster and faster. But anyways, I mean,
It
okay, yeah. So somebody corrected me. Paul Roberto, the derivative of velocity is acceleration. So yeah, I knew I got it right on one of the things I said.
all right, let's hear what else he has to say.
Terminal velocity, then they stop accelerating, and then they just fall at the constant rate. On top of that, you got centrifugal force. So Earth's moving the fastest at the equator, but it slows down as you leave the equator and approach the poles, allegedly, right? Let's pretend Earth moves, okay? Because I'm going to get to that in a second.
Oh boy.
So as things leave the equator, the centrifugal force decreases, and objects should get heavier the closer they are to the poles. Nobody witnesses that. 5-pound weights are 5 pounds at the equator.
Objects don't.
They're 5 pounds at the Capricorn and
Stop for a second.
Cancer. They're 5 pounds
Dave.
at.
Did he just say objects get heavier as you move to the poles?
Yeah, due to he's using the assumption that the centrifugal force has a major effect on the weight that you measure. I'm not going to say that it doesn't have any kind of effect on it, but it wouldn't have the amount of difference. Like, for instance, if you the weight that you weigh like at sea level versus like a high altitude city would be minuscule, but there is a difference. The same thing for, being in the air and whatnot. There would be a weight difference, but there's no major like weight he's thinking like you should weigh a considerable amount difference, like enough that it would, like, if I should weigh like I don't know however much, like 3/4 as much or whatever at the poles than I do like wherever I am. Is kind of like what he's going for here, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I just looked it up. The difference in weight in 100 pounds is roughly 5.5 ounces less at the equator than you do at the pole. It's so negligible, most people wouldn't even.
Yeah, so not really. Okay. Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that the way that he said that made it seem like it was a drastic change in weight. You know what I'm saying? Like he was saying it to a such like out of 100 pounds, 5 ounces is nothing. You know what I mean? So it's not really.
Well, yeah, and I mean, he's talking about the surface velocity, I guess, of the Earth from a reference frame that's outside of the Earth. So yeah, it does seem like it's going pretty fast. But if you go from a reference frame like actually on the Earth, I mean, it doesn't, like, the rotational speed doesn't change like all that. Like, I would venture to guess that it probably wouldn't change at all because it's how much it rotates in like one day, and I mean that's going to be the same amount, wherever you're at on the Earth. Whether you can discern like that, I guess, might change. Like sunrises and sunsets and all that other kind of stuff. But I mean, I don't. Not, I don't know. He's wanting to detect it in a way that he can just visually or by like a shit, what, a scale, like a scale that you get at Walmart.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, if you're looking to lose weight, I guess move closer to the
the equator. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like playing crack the whip on the hour hand of a clock. You're really not going to fall off.
Yeah. Okay. It just like the way he was saying it made it sound like it was a negligible difference. But go ahead.
The Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle. No one's ever measured 5-pound weight weighing more or less because of gravity and centrifugal force. So,
they have, by the way.
On top of that, mass attracting mass has never been proven. So this idea that everything is magically attracted to everything else is preposterous. It's insane. It's never been proven. And on top of that, these globers believe it's bending space-time. So they think this magical force that's never been proven is magically bending space, which, let me reiterate, is a vacuum of nothing. So, I mean, this is all air right here, right? There's actually molecules here in the air, right?
Can you pause? So, I mean, he's just not understanding, like, how, like, general, like, the theory of general relativity and all that, where Einstein proposed the bending of space-time. And, I mean, he's thinking of space-time as, like, an actual material. Like, he's about to go through how this is air up here. Can you imagine bending air? And it's like, we have ways of manipulating air. I don't think he really understands what he's talking about here, because he thinks that the fact that space is mostly a vacuum, like, he thinks that it's actually made of something. Like, space-time is a something, but it's not like a something he can necessarily physically touch, if you know what I mean.
It's not tangible.
Has a total misunderstanding of what space-time is.
Once again, I think it's mainly it has to do with him using actual science and scientific terms, but in a way that just bastardizes what the actual meaning of it is. It's kind of like what Daniel Pratt was doing when he was taking us kindergartners through school again, and using his big, okay, we're going to science now. Okay, let's science then.
Trying to bend air. Not happening. Bending space-time, which is nothing, even more preposterous. But we got to get over this gravity, because Earth doesn't move. Earth's never been proven to move. No Coriolis. Airplanes aren't accounting for
Earth. Sorry, I'm just interjecting with the just a simple explanation of Bob from Globebusters.
Yeah.
He proved all of that shit.
Gyroscopes.
First movement, according to the Federal Airline Administration. Snipers don't account for it. I know plenty of snipers. We have a ton in the group. Miguel Herrera trained people how to shoot.
Yes, they do.
Brett Bagley
yes, they do.
is a shooter.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do
account for it.
Especially over longer ranges.
Right. That is
Yeah.
a right out lie there.
I can only surmise that he is using this anecdotal evidence in the vein of like people that don't shoot the super long distances where you have to take the rotation of the earth and the curvature of the earth into account. Um, and so I can only speculate that like he's just talking about like medium range like snipers or whatnot that wouldn't have to take those things into account because the bullet doesn't travel enough distance in order to need to compensate for either the rotation of the earth or the curvature.
Right. There. It's like Matthew says in the live chat. There are 0 real snipers in the flat Earth. I think he maybe knows some people that shoots some guns off every weekend at a range, and they're telling him that they don't count. Not a real sniper because yes, they in fact do account for that. Absolutely, they do.
Yeah, I can just imagine like, yeah, I know some fellas. They shoot about 200 yards out. They don't have to account for nothing. They just shoot.
That is that. You know what? That's actually what they sound like. I've heard a recording. They sound just like that.
Did you account for the windage in that shot?
And they stick they lick their finger and hold it up in the air and say "woo doggy." Yep, that's them.
Jay Rovita is an ex-Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. I don't mean to be rude, guys. He's a Marine. So,
oh, did you see that? He's a Marine.
Nobody's accounting for Coriolis. And then on top of that, you got all the scientific experiments that have been done, and every scientific experiment to prove Earth's movement has failed. So you've got Michelson-Morley experiment, Michelson-Gale, you've got the Sagnik experiment, and you've got the Ares phase.
Okay, so like all of those things, the Sagnac, if memory serves, that's a very. I've been looking into it, and it's about like how lasers act on a spinning sphere. It's very specific. I haven't looked all that much into it, but I know that all of the other experiments that he listed were actually meant to try to prove an ether existing and not like anything else. Like it wasn't trying to disprove the motion of the earth or anything like that. Like the Michelson-Morley experiment, that was trying to detect a solar wind. Because if you guys don't know, they postulated that the ether was the medium that light traveled through. But that was before like the particle wave duality was discovered, and so they thought that light needed a medium to propagate through. So they set up a few experiments. Michelson-Morley was one. Michelson-Gale, I think is what he said. And then the Ares failure, that was a similar thing that was trying to detect an ether. But they all repaint it as like, they prove that the earth doesn't move. That's not true. That requires to say that requires the assumption that the ether exists. But we can't detect an ether. There is nothing to suggest an ether actually exists. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, an ether just doesn't exist. It's not supported by actual science. But they require it to exist, and they just assume that it exists. And it all goes back to their whole fallacy of, well, these first civilizations knew this existed, therefore it definitely exists.
Yeah, I think the term that you said it right there a second ago, actual science doesn't reflect what they're saying, and that's just a constant theme that they go with. For some reason, they cite experiments, and they do this with the like with the Cavendish experiment too. There are actual experiments that have gone on. They're citing actual experiments, but the results aren't reflected in what they're saying that they were used for. Like it's and they do that with everything. I don't know why, but it's like they don't believe that you're able to Google like what the Michelson-Morley experiment is and find out for yourself what the results were, and that it didn't say what it says that they're saying it says. It's odd. And people listen to it. That's the crazy thing. People buy into it. There was I watched it was on the National Geographic Channel. They did a experiment with it was Mark Sargent was there, and they went to this this lake, and they had these markers on the back of a boat. Right, they were doing the experiment where you go over the horizon, and you could zoom in with binoculars or your camera, and you could watch as these lines slowly started to go down beneath the horizon. Right, and there's a group of flat earthers out there, and the host of the show is watching these markers go down below the horizon. And she looks over at the group of flat earthers and she says, okay, clearly it's going over the horizon. You can't see the markers anymore. Like, they're gone. They're dipped below the horizon. And every one of them said that, nope, this does not disprove flat Earth, that was heat. It was heat that was making you giving the mirage like it was disappearing. And she went and sat down with Mark Sargent afterwards and was like, so does this disprove the flat Earth? He's like, oh no. That was heat that made the markers vanish. So they literally can be shown in real time, these experiments, and how they prove that you're in fact on a globe Earth, and still refuse to accept what it is even they are seeing. They're going to just write it off as something else, something that's ridiculous, and people will continue to buy into it. I don't get it.
Failure, where stars don't have parallax. And then on top of all of that preponderance of evidence, you're looking at a stationary North Star and constellations that never change. So how anyone can think in 2018, if they're honest with themselves, that Earth moves, or that all objects with mass are magically attracted to all other objects, or that things fall at a increased speed because of gravity, it's all vain religious superstition. Gravity is a false god.
It's none of those
God
things.
is just another word for guide. So if you think gravity's hurling you 66,000 miles an hour around the sun, and gravity's keeping you contained to a spinning ball Earth, spinning faster than the speed of sound around the equator, you are disconnected from reality. Now, the definition of the word insane means inability to perceive reality. So I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but
Stop it, Dave. Actually, one of the definitions of insanity is continuing to do something over and over again and expecting different results, which is, I believe, would be an accurate description for people who believe that the Earth is flat. They, when he just said it's religious, it's superstitious, no, it's none of those things. It's literally none of those things that you just said it was.
The projection is palpable.
Yeah, thou doesn't have much.
So the actual definition of insane is, as an adjective, it's in a state of mind which prevents normal perception, behavior, or social interaction, seriously mentally ill. There's an informal definition of being shocking, outrageous, like that's insane. Extreme, in a state of extreme annoyance or distraction, extremely foolish, illogical, irrational. So, I mean, I don't know. None of these things seem to be what he seems to define it as. Also, I would like to point out how he keeps using magical as far as characterizing gravity. And I find that to be just hysterical because he magically thinks things just fall. Like, he doesn't have an explanation for dropity. He doesn't say anything about why dropity occurs. It just magically happens. Or if you're Antonio Subarat's, levity also just magically happens. And so it's just, it's amazing to me that they can paint it. Like, it's a lot like creationists. I mean, it makes sense because a lot of these people are creationists. But
Absolutely.
It's like with creationists, they think, oh, so everything just magically formed out of nothing in the beginning of the universe. And it's like, no, that's not even what the science says about it. But they themselves think, oh, it just magically happens. And it's so weird to me how they try to, it's almost like they try to gaslight, saying, oh no, you're the ones that believe in magical shit. I don't believe in magical shit.
Right. That's a very good point. And I don't think words mean what he thinks they mean. That's what I think it boils down to. Like, I don't think they mean exactly what he thinks that they do. He said that the name of this video is "Why Gravity is Fake." I hear him saying "nuh-uh." Like, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing "nuh-uh," but I'm not hearing an explanation as to why it is. Like, he's not giving a counter argument. He's just simply saying "nuh-uh." He's not giving any sort of reason why what he thinks gravity is the way that it is. He's not giving an explanation for why things fall, like you just said. He's just saying "nuh-uh" to gravity. So here we have yet another "nuh-uh" defense.
Well, yeah, and I mean, he might come back and say like, well, no, I was giving you proof because I said that like the Cavendish experiment doesn't work, which I don't know if he's gotten to that point yet, but I'm sure it'll come up. But I mean, he just says that mass does not attract mass, but he doesn't. The problem is that he just makes these sort of anecdotal or just very surface level claims that really need you to back it up as to why it doesn't prove those things. And that's what a lot of flat earthers fall into. Is they just make these claims like, oh, gravity doesn't exist. And then they don't bother to actually back it up. Or like Cavendish doesn't prove that gravity occurs or happens or whatnot. And they just don't go into the reasons why like the Cavendish experiment is faulty. They can't explain why it's faulty.
Right. It's easy to say "nuh-uh," but "nuh-uh" doesn't really mean shit. No, science doesn't give a fuck about your "nuh-uh." Go ahead, Dave.
Textbook definition of the word insane means everyone who thinks they're on a spinning ball, insane. Everyone who believes in gravity, insane. Everyone who believes in outer space and other planets.
I don't think there's a textbook out there that says this.
Insane. Okay? What we have is
Must be coming out in
a
DSM
new
6.
world order coming to a city near you. They're just not public yet. United Nations united against us. United against the people. United against
All right, go ahead and stop it, Dave. So here we see where the real contention is. It's not that he has an explanation scientifically for why things fall or why things seem to be attracted to the center of the Earth itself. It seems like he's going to go with the Illuminati defense. There is a larger group. They. So we have nuh-uh and they. These are the two reasons that gravity is false. Nuh-uh and they. See, yeah, exactly. Nuh-uh. They say nuh-uh. Fantastic. Love it. All right, Dave.
Millions. United against the truth seekers. United against the Church of Jesus Christ. So, I got a king, and his name's Jesus. And if you don't know him, you should get to know him. Because he holds all things together.
Look, we just ran the trifecta. We just ran the trifecta.
So,
hold on, Dave.
That's scientifically...
Dave.
Who doesn't know about fucking Jesus at this point? Like in at least in America, like who's on Facebook and being like, oh, who's this Jesus fuck?
We have nuh-uh, they, and my holy book. We had just ran the board on. We just ran the board on the reasons here. Well, I'm convinced. GE, I think he's got a point. I mean, when you have nuh-uh, they, and my holy book, what do you say about that?
I mean, I think that if we were playing Flat Earth Bingo, I think that we would probably have a bingo by now. Because, I mean, he just runs the gambit on all of the reasons that he does not believe in a globe Earth, on top of calling everybody that does believe in a globe Earth insane. Like, I find that hilarious that he wants to try to paint us as the insane ones.
Right. I even think if let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that Jesus is real and up there seated by the right hand of God. Even he's face palming right now. It's like, God, he doesn't believe in gravity and he's saying my name. Holy fuck.
Also, guys, I said I hate figs. There was a whole thing about it in the Bible. I cursed a fig tree. I hate figs.
Oh, that's awesome. Nuh-uh. Okay.
How preposterous gravity is, but I love you guys. You guys are blowing up in the comments. But Yeah, so I broke it down, guys. Centrifugal force debunks gravity. 9.8 meters per second debunks gravity. Terminal velocity debunks gravity. Earth's movement has never been proven. Debunks gravity. Mass has never been proven to attract mass.
That's a lie.
Debunks gravity. I mean, why are adults in 2018 still talking about this G word? It's so goofy. So
Oh, God?
I just want to do a quick video on it
Pause.
so that you guys can be better.
So, in order for there to be a velocity, like as a measurement or whatnot, you have to have a force pushing something in one direction. Like there's whether it's a force of the object's own making or something outside of the object, there has to be a force that is pushing on that object to have it go in that direction as fast as it's going. Same thing with acceleration, which is just it's a measurement of velocity. So I mean, you have to have forces. Like these people, they never understand the fact that the basic laws of motion they apply like throughout the universe. And just because you want to write it off with droppity or uppity or whatever the fuck, you still have to have a reason for a force. Like there has to be a reason behind it. So like the reason why there's a terminal velocity is because gravity is a thing. So terminal velocity can't disprove gravity, as well as the 9.8 meters per second squared acceleration due to gravity, and all the like the centrifugal force. I mean, the centrifugal force is a measurable thing, and like Team Skeptic, he has excellent videos where he goes like he details the math, and he's calculated the centrifugal force like pushing on an object in the opposite direction of gravity versus gravity's force. And I mean, it's minuscule. That's why it doesn't have really any kind of effect.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm reading on CNN.com. This just in: Figs announce a pride parade at the end of Jesus's comment. So that's going to be this June. That's good. I'm very happy for you, Figs. You Figs deserve to be who you are. So, Fig pride, everyone. Fig pride.
Don't shame figs.
Yeah.
Fig Newtons are the best. Don't shame figs, says Kuyasa.
There's a little bit of fig
I
in
just
all
want
of
to
us.
put it out there. Okay, I just want to put a couple things out there. One, Jesus is the one that hated figs. I don't have a problem with figs. Two,
Okay, good.
I think the serving size on Fig Newtons are bullshit. No, the serving size on those fuckers should be a sleeve. I agree with Brian Regan on this. He's a comedian that brought this up, and I'm like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
They should be a sleeve for one of those motherfuckers.
You got to be careful though when you eat a fig, because and I'm going to barrel through this anyway. You can get a hornet like sometimes in it. Have you seen this? Or a wasp? There's it's a wasp or a hornet. I can't remember which one it is, but they burrow inside of these figs, and sometimes you can cut them open and find that on the inside. Really, really true.
You know, sometimes spiders hide in banana clusters.
Yeah.
Casey was like, the fuck?
Oh, okay. That's great. All right, Dave.
Equipped to explain to these people that bring up gravity how vain and how religious their beliefs are. It's backed by zero science. So Luis Garcia, I love you, bro. Good to see you, man. I'll see you in Denver. You caught it at the tail end of the video. I'm about to cancel out and just have my night, but I just had to talk to you guys about gravity, and I'm going to keep working on my all the evidence that disproves gravity. I'm going to keep sharpening my sword, sharpening my axe. Thomas Jefferson said if you had 4 hours to chop down a cherry tree, he would spend 3 hours sharpening his axe and 1 hour chopping the tree. Now, what did he say by that? He said he would spend 3 hours working on himself, 3 hours working on his proof, 3 hours working on his experiments before he ever went at flat Earth.
No, that's not what he said. No, that's not what he said at all. He just said he would spend the 3 hours sharpening his axe, because that makes sense. If you have a sharper tool, you're able to do a better, more more expedited job. He did not say anything about what you just said he did. Like you're adding
He's reading too much between the lines and not enough lines.
He's trying to make it work into what he's saying, but it's just not.
Well, yeah. So in the like for he the axe would be his skills, like skills as a scientist, just general like scientific knowledge and all that other kind of shit. Like that would be the axe in this, and then the actual work would be the experiment. So I mean, I think he's got it a little twisted around, and I don't disagree with the sentiment of like shoring up like your skills as a debater or your skills as anything like that. Spend more time like researching and understanding science and mathematics, and then you don't have to like do as much work. And I mean, I agree with that sentiment, but he's totally like, imagine this. It would work for Nathan if it was like, all right, I'm gonna go sharpen my axe over here, and he just goes and he starts sharpening. I don't know. He starts fucking around with just a regular old piece of wood, and like the axe is over there getting all rusted and shit, and he's just like, yeah, I'm working on my axe here, and it's just like he's fucking with some kind of piece of wood. He's not even sharpening it. He's just chopping away at wood, acting like he's actually sharpening an axe.
Taking chainsaws to flat Earth. So you choose your tools wisely, Nathan. Choose your tools wisely.
Went at the tree with the axe. So, guys, get your ducks in a row. One of the most important things you can do is memorize 1,000,000 proofs for flat water. Okay. So when you talk about water being flat, don't just tell people water's flat. Mention the geographic range table from the U.S. Coast Guard. Mention lighthouses and how visibility of distant objects debunks globe Earth curvature. Mention how frozen lakes have no curvature. Mention the Peak Day Aries, the world record photo. For 275 miles away, they photographed an island. There's tons of sight distances proof. Catalina Island from Santa Monica, San Clemente Island, which is where I'm from, Orange County, the Statue of Liberty, the Chicago horizon. The horizon's always flat and rises to eye level. Boats don't disappear.
The Statue of Liberty,
right.
Flat Earth. Oh, okay.
Yeah, apparently the Chicago skyline is actually from the Chicago skyline from Michigan. I want to say it is. That's actually a really good example of how refraction helps, like in seeing longer distances and everything like that. The light is actually refracted across the surface of the Earth so that you can see more and more of the skyline. And you can actually find pictures of out there where they actually do kind of like a what is it called? A timed set of photos where you can see the horizon like shrinking basically and showing more of the skyline. And so that's actually a pretty good proof for curvature of the Earth, not a flat Earth. Also, he's like, take time memorizing these things that are proofs for a flat water or whatever he says. I mean, like you were saying, it's not flat, it's level. But still, I mean, you can bring that stuff up, but that's not actually proving your point. Like, those aren't like facts that you can throw out there. Most of the time, they're not even facts that are actually real. So I don't know why he's giving people this kind of advice of like, hey, don't just claim this one thing, also back it up with this other thing you can't prove.
It's a lot of words again. They say a lot, but they don't really mean anything. Bob the scientist has well, a couple of those points that he brought up has really good videos on why they don't work in a flat Earth. There's flavors. Conspiracy Cats does too. You can go to his Baldy Cats channel actually too and watch him go in detail as to and break down why these things do not support what they're saying that it supports. It's so if you want to go check into more of those, you can go check out Bob the Scientist or Conspiracy Cats / Baldy Cats, and they go into very very good detail as to why what he's saying right now just isn't true.
behind a curvature. Just zoom in on the boat. It's still there. So what I'm saying is, get all your proofs in a row. And once you got all your proofs in a row, then you can explain to people, hey, I don't just have one proof that water's level. I got 20 proofs. I got 15 proofs. I got 10 proofs. Whatever you can fit in here, get them in a row. So same thing with gravity. Centrifugal force, 9.8 meters per second, terminal velocity, stationary North Star, airplanes aren't accounting for gravity. Or they actually admit in the FAA website that they don't account for a gravity vector. So hi Patricia Steer, good to see you. I'll see you in Denver. And let me reiterate, guys, if you're not going to the conference, pencil it in your schedule. Make sure you're going to the conference. Everyone's going to be there.
So I think that it's one of those situations where you could pull out a Princess Bride meme, and you keep using that word, proof. I don't think it means what you think it means. Like he has the he has the worst concept of what proof actually means. And to say that planes don't account for gravity, I think that's really ridiculous.
And I meant Bob the Science Guy. Yeah, not Bob the Scientist. I don't know why I had a run in on there, but yes. Thank you for correcting me there, Bob the Science Guy, not Bob the Scientist. Sorry about that. Okay.
We're going to have amazing speakers. I've already seen the lineup. Robbie's
I think
doing
the
a great
rest
job
of this is
continuously
only like a
adding
minute left.
18
It's just
flat
him talking
earthers.
about the
We're going to
convention.
rock the house. It's going to be way better than North Carolina. So I look forward to seeing you all there. And I love you guys. And be, nice to each other. Tell the truth. That's really all we can do. Keep it flat out there. I'm going to sign off.
Tell the truth.
Much love. It's an honor being here. Peace.
It would be nice if he didn't bullshit everybody.
Do you think
Kayla just got.
Do you think he honestly believes that the Earth is flat? Like, do you think he genuinely feels that way, or do you think this is a thing for attention?
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm very hesitant to doubt anybody's sincerity on whatever they're making videos about or whatnot. Like if somebody makes a video about how dinosaurs don't exist, I'm more apt to take them at their word for it. So, I mean, I don't think that he's completely disingenuous. I think that he really believes it, but I think that he has to actually ignore a lot of things, like most flat earthers, because, these people, they fill up these groups and they participate in the groups in a private way, and they don't ever want to be challenged. Like they want to have these conferences and they don't want to be challenged at the conferences. They don't want their ideas to be challenged. They just want to be heard, and they want people to believe what they do. But other than, actually wanting answers, I really don't think that any of these people actually want answers. I think that they just want to, believe in the flat earth, and they will disregard any kind of evidence that either confuses them or disproves their particular belief in the flat earth. And I mean, you see this like almost every single time on one of these Flatter Night fight shows or Flatter Night shows. You see it constantly. You give them appropriate explanations, and they will find anything. And I believe Team Skeptic earlier in the chat said unfalsifiable, and that's exactly what their whole idea about the flat Earth rests on, is this unfalsibility of their idea. They can't be wrong about it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I think that was well said. Okay, so now we're gonna. I got a backup video that we'll take a look at here in just a second, but we'll give you guys time to. Anybody out there that thinks that the Earth is not what science says it is, or maybe you're a geocentrist, you can come in as well. Anybody that thinks that we are being lied to about anything to do with our placement in the universe or the shape that it currently is, we would love to have you come in. I think that it's going to. I don't think that's going to happen because I've been watching the chat. No one. It didn't seem like we had any flat earthers in the chat tonight. So maybe we have. Well, it only took what 27 Saturday night fights to put them out. So we'll give you a chance.
I mean, I think that the pretty much the entire flat Earth community at this point has been bitch made, and so I don't think that they like. I don't feel like they want to subject themselves to criticism. Like they want to constantly spout in about how the Earth is flat. They want to be able to call flat globe earthers like names and shit and laugh at how dumb, quote unquote, dumb we are.
Oh yeah.
But they don't actually want to back up their ideas. And
Well, they can't.
I think it's well, I know they can't, but they've ceased trying to back them up in a public way.
Sure, I agree. It's funny because you'll see them all the time in the like somebody just mentioned in the chat right now. Flat Earth Aussie Jesus isn't even showing up. So yeah, I mean that's when you know we pushed away all the competition. Dave, let's play this video for a second. We'll hear what this guy has to say. This guy thinks that Flat Earth Paradise is here, and we'll hear why.
Hello YouTube, thanks for all joining me. It's Akhenaten here with my dog.
Oh, cute
Coco.
doggy.
Just out here having a great day, and I wanted to say that the flat earth plane is an esoteric thing for people to understand. And the flat earth plane is something that's really easy to understand. Like back in the 30s, the earth was flat. And so, like that.
Wait a minute, hold on. So back in the 30s, right, the earth was flat. Well, does that mean it wasn't up until the 30s? What shape was it up until the 30s?
I really don't even understand. Like I get the whole esoteric part of his thing because that's kind of like one of the prime components of the flat Earth community is they feel like they're a small number but getting bigger but they have this special knowledge. So I can buy the whole esoteric thing, but I mean, yeah, I don't know about the whole the Earth was flat in the 30s. Like,
I can't wait to hear. Dave?
Back in the day when the earth was flat. Remember?
What?
Do you remember those days? Grandma?
No.
Or who's ever watching? You know what I mean?
Motherfucker, you're 18
Whoever
or some
remembers
shit.
the day when the earth was flat
No.
shall be the one who's immortal. All you have to remember is that the earth is flat. That's all you need to know to be immortal. And then
What?
Man, are you fucking with us?
I don't know what he's smoking.
This guy's not serious.
I don't know what he's
What is
smoking.
he talking about?
All you
Okay.
gotta do is believe that the earth is flat and you'll be immortal, okay?
You hear that, Grandma? You hear that, Grandma? Oh boy. I hate to say let's continue, but let's continue.
you'll be able to go to Shambhala. You'll be able to go to
What?
the Garden of Eden.
Wow. What does
You'll
a
be
towel
able to
have?
go to You'll be able to go up to the serpent in the Garden of Eden and make the right choice and eat a mango instead of an apple, you know? Because the apple
what?
has
Eat a mango instead of an apple? Like, do you think that there were multiple
man.
fruits up there that we could? Oh my god, I can't see. This is the kind of thing. Like, I think Nathan is a lot more genuine in his beliefs than this guy is. Obviously, I don't know if he like did a whole bunch of meth before making this or something. I don't know, but this is just way too ridiculous for it to be like a serious
People in
thing.
the 1930s don't even remember that the earth was flat.
Nathan Nathan sounds like a literary scholar compared to this right here. Did he really say that, Grandma? If you remember the days of the flat Earth, you can go to a ShamWow, like you can buy a ShamWow.
He
What?
said Shimbala or Shambhala or something like that.
I'm pretty sure he said ShamWow.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure. Okay, go ahead, Dave.
Have cyanide in them, but that amount of cyanide can't kill you. So it's better to be more pure and eat only mangoes.
It was on his shirt.
I have to put this. The legal department has told me that I have to say this. No amount of cyanide or arsenic is good for you. There's not a safe amount for either one of those things.
But there are fruits that contain certain percentage, like certain amounts of it in the seeds. That's just what he's talking about. He's talking about
I know, but he's gonna sit there and say it's not gonna hurt you. Well, no, one won't. But if you kept eating the seeds like an idiot, yeah, it would.
Yeah, don't eat too many.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like somebody watching this might be like, "Oh, you mean I can just take a little bit of cyanide and I'll be okay?" It's like, no, do not consume straight cyanide. That is going to kill you.
Yes, don't listen to this. Just don't listen to this guy on anything. Not only just the cyanide thing, on anything. All right, go ahead.
And only mangoes and bananas and stuff that are cruelty free with your cow that you own, the cow that you own at your own property.
What is happening right now?
You would milk that cow.
Where the fuck does he live where everybody owns a cow?
And you would buy apples from the local market, and you would purchase grapes, and you would get grapes at the local supermarket, and you would get raspberries at the local supermarket, and you'll get mangoes at the local farmer's market.
Go forward, Dave, a little bit, where he starts talking about the flat Earth again? He's going off about fruits right now, and I don't understand.
I don't know where that is, but I'll skip it.
I think basically what it comes down to is buy from your local farmer's market. Do not buy from those fuckers at the supermarket.
I
feel like that's where he's going.
We'll skip a bit here.
This is what flat Earth
I'll
has
try and get
introduced.
more money so I can move out. These doctors, they can't fuck with their feelings. You know what I'm saying? When you get pills, it fucks how you're living. It fucks your brain
That is true.
thoughts.
That is true.
You know? And it makes you...
it can.
Keep going forward, David. He's still not on flat Earth.
docile and slower, but actually...
The title of this video is called "Why the Flat Earth Paradise is Here."
And I'm just here with my King Tut golden baby and my dad soon, and it'll be a fun thing because me and my dad haven't hooked up in a while.
I think we can stop it now. Now he's going on about personal stuff. So basically, he titled a video, "The Flat Earth Paradise is Here," and his only statement about the flat Earth is that you need to get a ShamWow because people in the 1930s knew that it was not right to eat cyanide. Is that what I heard?
I don't know. I legit have no idea what the fuck. Apparently, I feel like this is a guy that probably lives like in Iowa or Kansas or maybe Texas, because according to him, everybody owns cows, and it's better to shop at a farmer's market. I mean, I don't know when the last time anybody else shopped at a farmer's market, but I mean, we shop there during the summer when there's one out, and I mean, I got to be honest. Like, there are some things that I am a little fuzzy on buying at at the farmers market, like corn, for instance. Last time we bought corn at the farmers market, it had maggots on the end of it. So I don't like. There are very few
Oh,
things
boy.
that I trust. Yeah. Also, don't get goat cheese from a farmer's market.
Wait, why?
I don't know. The one goat cheese that I had, it said that it was like what was it? Medium medium sharpness or just sharp or something like that cheese. But like when I took a bite of it, it was like so tart. Like it was tart as a motherfucker. And I don't know, it just was not good at all.
I love goat cheese. But yeah, I don't get this guy.
Oh,
I'm looking.
I don't mean goat cheese in general. I just mean from a farmer's market.
Right.
Because they
Gotcha.
hand make it, and so they can't really control it, I guess, all that well.
Got it. I'm looking right now for there was a second video that I saw, but I thought I saved it to my now later or watch later, but I can't seem to find it now. Do you know who Flat Earth Pirate is?
Oh God. I think maybe I've responded to one of his videos.
That guy's excellent. Yeah, I can't find it right now. Yeah, so this guy, the Flat Earth Paradise, sure. Don't get it, but sure. So do we have any takers? Anybody coming in?
No. I doubt it. I haven't seen
What a shame.
anybody respond positively in the chat. You know,
What a
I
shame.
guess we've just I mean, is the flat earth defeated? Is that what we should take away from this?
Yep, I believe it is. What we'll do is
Well,
we'll close on a Daniel Pratt video.
oh shit. Well, hey, what
You'd
are
like-
we gonna do for Saturday nights now? If they're all bitch made and none of them are gonna come on here, what are we gonna do?
We will shift over to conspiracies in general. We'll get people on here that not necessarily that the Earth is flat, but we'll get them on here that think some other kind of woo stuff until we and every week that we have to do that, we'll run a counter. 7 days, 14 days since flat Earth was bitch made, and then eventually maybe we'll get somebody that can break the counter.
All right, that sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see, what Daniel Pratt video do we want to look up? Well, since we're go ahead.
I was just gonna say I mean Daniel Pratt has the best evil villain laugh like on YouTube right now. If we
does.
watch one of his videos, you'll see what I mean.
He's like a Bond video. I just sent you one, David. Since we're talking about gravity today, I figured that we'll go with a video that he released 6 days ago entitled "Flat Earth Gravity: The Consummate Magic with a K Trick Dependent Solely on Subjectivity Subjective Perspective." So find out what he says about gravity. That ball thing, though, man, that did me in with him.
Do you think that he's serious, or do you think he's pelling it up?
He's just crazy enough to believe that, to actually believe that, I think. So maybe he does. I don't know.
For some reason, that one doesn't want to load. Let me try a different way.
Well, it's probably vMix going, I'm tired of this shit too.
Yeah, yeah. vMix could be just like, I'm too high class for this bullshit.
You should just the browser input should just load right up.
That's what I do. Now here we go. I got it. Just something was wrong with the way I copied the link before.
Cool.
Come on.
Give it to us, Mr. Pratt.
Go full screen here, and then we'll talk to Mr. Pratt.
There he is.
There he is.
What if I were to have the nerve, the audacity, the truth in Christ to prove to you that gravity is a myth? Until somebody can explain to me how gravity can have the conscious ability to be subjective rather than objective. They're constantly coming to us and saying, what determines what's down? Well, nothing does on your model. You constantly say,
What did he just? If he had the truth in God to tell somebody that gravity should be objectively subjective, what is he?
I don't even know
Well,
what
I think-
subjective gravity would be.
What do we even do this to ourselves?
Yeah. So I think what he's saying here is he has a problem with the idea that down, up, left, and right is a subjective way of talking about your position. And like I'm guessing with gravity, it would be the up, down kind of subjective thing. Because like in a 3D space, there's no real up or down. You have to assign like up and down to whichever way you're pointing. And I think that he has a problem with normal people. I always want to say globe believers, but that's not true. I mean, yeah, we're globe believers, but I mean, we're just normal fucking people. They are the abnormal ones.
Look at the face that we're frozen on. By the way, and
It's
by
like
the
they're
way,
sucking a tiny Jesus cock.
by the way, gravity is not fucking conscience. It's not conscious at all. What is he? What? Oh man, go ahead, dude.
Hazy in the chat
when you're
said,
holding
I
an
think you're giving him
object
too much credit.
and you let go of it, why doesn't it go up? It does. Every day, all day. Okay. Here's my little tube of super glue,
Oh,
okay?
shit.
It just went up, not down.
Okay,
Or how about
pause.
this? It
What the hell is
see,
he talking about even?
So he's like I said before, he has a problem. Like I get that I'm giving him too much credit or whatnot, but I'm trying to figure out what his actual problem is because he doesn't even understand what his actual problem is, or he can't communicate effectively. I mean, I have problems communicating, but it's far better than Daniel fucking Pratt. So he's angry over the issue of up and down being relative or subjective terms. And so he's trying to turn the tables on normal fucking people and be like, well, if I let go and it drops, it's just going up. That's how I choose to define up. So it's going up. But he falls into an equivocation fallacy at that point because he's talking about a set of directionality that is different from what everybody else is talking about, using the same words to confuse the conversation.
He falls into what we call a fucking moron fallacy because whether he likes it or not, these words are already defined. We, as a collective society, know what drop means. We know what down means. We know what up means. We know what forward and backwards mean. And because you don't like that those words are associated in a different direction, no one gives a flying fuck. Drop is still going to mean what you just did. Down is the direction what you just did will go. It will never be up, like you just said. What you're doing is wasting your fucking time talking nonsense.
I like the fucking moron fallacy because I feel like it should just go to a video, a 3-second video of him looking at the camera, dropping something that's like, that fell up. That's the fucking moron fallacy.
Fucking moron
right there.
fallacy.
Fucking moron fallacy.
Argument add moron. Argument add moron. All right, go ahead, Dave.
Just went up and down. See, it's going down to me, but in a frame of reference, I know how y'all love the notebook.
He's got fucking
So here I
paper.
am on top of my ball here, but all my good friends and viewers down here in Australia, they're on top of their ball over here. So according to their frame of reference, it's going down to me, but it's going up to them. So gravity is subjective to your point of view.
By the way, I was the one that flipped a video, not him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So I don't expect him to have that kind of capability. But did anybody here see like the newest Total Recall, like the remake of Total Recall?
No, I haven't.
No? Okay.
It's been a while.
Okay, so in it, it's got Colin Farrell, and he plays the guy that is Arnold Schwarzenegger's character or whatnot. And instead of going to Mars, it's actually like they're on one side of the planet, and then they go to another side of the planet. And the way that they get there is they go directly through the Earth. And so, like, this is totally science fiction-y. It is not how it would work, but basically, they have this elevator that goes directly through the Earth, and at one point, like, gravity flips. And so you're going down, and then you got to go up because it's coming up on the other side. And I don't think that he understands that gravity it's pulling towards the center of mass. So like he wants to use these two different frames of reference in order to be like, well, from this other person's frame of reference, it's actually falling up. It's like, well, no. That would still be falling down because it's going towards the center of mass. Like, that's what we mean when it's, like, relative. Like, down is relative from a reference point that's, like, outside the Earth. That's what he's doing. He's talking about this from a reference frame that's outside of the Earth while trying to make it seem like he's talking about reference frames on the Earth.
Yeah.
I think way too much into this shit. Maybe it's the whiskey.
Poor Mr. Pratt. No, I think you've got it. I just the level to which he is the level of derpness he achieves on each of his videos is impressive almost. Like I'm honestly sometimes in awe of the level of sheer ignorance to anything that's based in reality. Just not chucks it straight out the window, and because he can draw images on a piece of paper and throw water at a spinning dodgeball, this disproves somehow hundreds of years of science and facts and evidence. It's quite comical. Dave?
So because I'm dropping this super glue here and it's going down to me, does that make it false when my viewers in Australia say, nope, that's going up towards me?
No, they're not saying that.
If that were if there were a hole from here to my buddies in Australia, would it even get to them, number one? And two, if it did, it would be going up. They would have to catch it going like this.
You poor man.
That's not how gravity works, dipshit.
Poor man.
He's laughing.
So how
Annis Moon says,
is gravity
don't you remember Daniel Pratt in the
subjective?
30s?
I think it'd be funny if his dryer buzzer went off right now.
You say gravity determines up and down, but I just proved to you no it doesn't. Only according to my frame of reference. If there's someone standing on the other side of a ball, it's going up towards them.
No, pause.
Pause it, Dave.
So gravity.
It's not gravity. It's not gravity that determines your frame of reference or what is up and down. That's not Gravity doesn't do that. It's your particular like it's your particular position that determines like that, and like your particular orientation or whatnot that kind of dictates like up and down as far as how relative they are.
Yeah, gravity. Gravity is talking about the attraction of between objects that have mass, not your position on where you are on the globe. Daniel, you are once again, my friend, you are so sadly mistaken, and this is just happening way too often. Daniel, I think you need to come in for a chat. How about this? How about next Saturday you come in and we can all have notepads and pens and draw things. I have a whiteboard too that we can do experiments on. But why don't you come in and we'll hear you out on your different experiments and why you think that they prove if you genuinely stand by what you're saying. Just come in here and answer some questions. If you don't, if this is all bullshit, if you're just trolling people, then don't. Fine, ignore my request to have you come in and chat about it. But if you really mean what you're saying, you'll come in and talk about it. If not, we'll know. We get it.
Yeah, I don't know if he would actually show. I mean, Daniel Pratt is definitely one of the ones that just likes to ramble off like incoherently on YouTube and not really engage anybody. Like he shit talks Greater Sapien, Sean Hawkins, and all those other people out there. I mean, all he does is shit talk them on his channel, and then he won't like he won't come on. I bet you he won't. He's too bitch made to come on his show.
I agree with you. I don't think that. I think it's because he knows he can't defend it. But I'm just saying, if he genuinely believed that the Earth was flat, then he would come in and talk to us about it. But like I said, if like you think and I think and everybody else thinks he's just somebody on the internet talking shit to have something to do, then he will ignore this request for him to come in. I mean, it's just simple. If he thinks the Earth is flat, he'll come in. If he doesn't, he won't.
But I think the only way. I'm not suggesting anybody does this, but I think the only way is if people actually put in his comment section, "Hey, go on the NonSequitur show. They called you out," or something. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not going to tell you that his channel is called Reshaping Our World or some Reshaping the World or whatnot. But I mean, I think the only way that he would do that is if people went to his channel and just said, "Hey, NonSequitur called you out."
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's that you're right about that. I think that would definitely we just want to all we want to do is ensure to other people that because a lot of people think that he's just a poe. They don't believe him. But by coming here, he can prove that he genuinely has convictions about this. Like he really thinks that the Earth is flat. If he doesn't, then he won't. Everybody. If he doesn't, then he won't. But maybe people will let him know that we have requested his presence here, that we are genuinely concerned about whether or not he believes if the Earth is flat, and we want to help him prove that he believes that the Earth is flat. And we can do that by him coming here and just showing up. So we'll see. Okay. Flatties in the chatties. Oh, we got a flat earther in here now? Who? Who we got? Who we got? We'll wait just a second and see if somebody comes in. If not, we'll say goodnight and see if Mr. Pratt comes in. Oh, Arave Inley, are you a flat earther?
That's Lemon Bird.
Lemon Bird. Why does that sound familiar?
Mr. Potato Mike himself from Flutterday Night, one of the way early.
Oh, I remember that. That. Okay. Full-blooded Christian. Are you a flat earther? Oh, look at this. $10,000.
There's an arbiter of truth, and I'm kind of curious if they're a flat earther.
Full-blooded Christian says. Go ahead.
Huh?
Full-blooded Christian says $10,000 for the first globe monkey to show us their working cartoon model. RIP. Well, Full-Blooded Christian, why don't you get your ass in here and tell us why it's not on a globe? What do you say? Let's go, noobs, he
He
says.
says, "Let's go, noobs."
Okay. Dave, if you will leave your email in the live chat, Full-Blooded Christian, Dave will send you a link and we can bring you in here. Full-blooded.
I wonder what does that mean? Like, did both of his parents fuck while they were Christians, and that brought him here? Should I not say that because then he might not come in?
Probably. I don't see him saying anything now. Oh boy, we have another. Oh, the theists have been scared to death for years. Atheists have a better chance of proving their magical pseudoscience than getting me a link. Rest in peace. Oh, that mean your bitch made
bitch
too?
made already?
What? Well, he is. Well, listen. You don't want to come in here on either the globe Earth or the atheist question because you will
I'll
walk in,
debate
but you will limp out. You will limp out. Go ahead, G.
Oh, okay. He says, "Let me know when you guys have a link peered. You're already scared to death. As soon as you see my name, you'll block me. You're not blocked yet."
We're trying to get you a link for what a Christian.
I saw Dave put his email in the chat, so you just gotta email Dave.
Yep.
I just put it in there again. Hashtag bitchmade on it too.
Yeah. It looks like we're gonna add another one to the list tonight. It's so funny. Like these people they talk so much shit, and I guess they're expecting us to not like either see the comment or pay any attention to it. But the moment that you say, "Oh, okay, here's your link. Come on in and back that shit up." Oh, I'm not coming in because you're scared. I'm not clicking the link because you're scared of me coming in there. That's the only reason I'm not clicking this link. It's because you're scared.
Oh, wait, he just put his email in the chat.
Oh, good, excellent. There you go, Dave. We'll send you a link then.
I don't know. I'm doubtful of Full-Blooded Christian being an actual full-blooded Christian or a flat earther.
Quarter-blooded?
No. Because he says I have 5 minutes to scare the life out of a few thousand atheist noobs. I'm sorry, real people don't talk like that.
That's
I don't
true.
know. He could just be a ridiculous person. That's perfectly plausible, but I don't know.
Could be.
We're
out.
getting you a link.
Yep, it's coming in. Where's
this freaking email at? I don't see it. I must be blind.
Oh, hold on.
I'll get it to you.
I'm looking in the chat and it keeps going by too fast. So I'm trying to scroll back and it keeps messing it up.
Let's see.
I got it copied. I'm getting it to you. I don't know if you found it yet.
Cool. And while we wait on him, I'll go ahead and start knocking out some of these super chats.
Oh yeah, we got super chats.
Get those out of the way while we wait for him to come in. Okay, let's see. All right. All right, from CI Lobotomy LLC, another round of chess with pigeons, but we all get covered in shit. Well, that's accurate. My unfinished journey. Kyle isn't just a fag, he's fabulous. Thank you. I'll take that. Cajun Crustacean. Fail at the ready. Ding. Kuyasa. Mass attracts mass. Gravity is gay? Yes, but they can now legally get married. Orlor says, when are the flat earthers going to come up with some actual evidence? The answer is never. Night Demon, US. Yes, snipers do. Cleaned and shot many in the army. That is, they include the Coriolis effect, or they Unapologetically atheist. The problem is that flat earthers don't have the minimum intelligence that is necessary to understand the evidence that proves them wrong. I believe that is accurate. My unfinished journey. What brand of projector does NT use? Nathan Thompson. I don't know. We also have Fig Newtons are the best. Don't shame figs. I agree. Fig Pride. Brandon Smith. Love the show. Huge fan. Keep doing what you're doing. I think we will, sir. Unapologetically atheist again. This needs an ass load of antipsychotics. He is showing every sign of suffering from a paranoid delusion. That's in reference to Nathan Thompson. Demonic Davros. Predator drone. Denver problem solved. Oh, God. The Athens 619. The Earth rotates faster than the synapses and neurons work in any flat earther's brain. That's a 0.0000697 RPM. Willie Merck. Hey, Nathan Thompson, why don't you raise money, get a ride on a MiG flug, and see the curve. Also, you can feel gravity before you pass out. Night Demon US. That's meffed up. Cameron Jones. This is your brain on flat Earth. Unapologetically atheist. The guy in the second video is showing what happens when you chug the bong water. That's very true. Bombay, flat Earth knowledge, kind of sounds like Deepak Chopra's truism is just with the words universe, cosmos, quantum replaced with flat Earth. We also, can we consider today the V-Day in the flat Earth war? Yes, we can. Wesley Smith, I'm going to start the oxygen is not real movement and suspect they will change it for the future. Unapologetically atheist. Make Kyle twerk. That's the new show. Please, no. I will not be twerking on. I can twerk, but I will not be doing it on camera. Bombay, less than 33 episodes to bury flat Earth. Illuminati debunked. John Rapp, he's sniffing the glue. That explains a lot. Wesley Smith, these flat Earth freaks remind me of Garbage Pail Kids. LOL. The Evil Scotsman, why do us always give out links and not Zeldas? Very good. And lastly, Lost Faith in Humanity. A big fan of you guys and Godless Engineer. I feel like a lot of these people draw their own conclusion and are completely sold on their own conclusions. No point in trying to educate themselves, or they are trolls. I would agree with you, sir. 100%. Dave, do we have anybody in?
No, he's too busy chatting it up.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. Whatever your name is, I forgot what it was. But full-blooded Christian. Dave, we can hear you typing, by the way. I want to mute again. I am going to tell you this, that we're going to give you 2 minutes to get in here. I'm going to read these last 4 super chats, and then you have 2 minutes to get in here before your name, too, sir, is added to the hashtag bitchmade list. So you can continue to chat up all you want to, but your 2 minutes starts now. Scrat the Skeptic Squirrel says, love me some Zelda. The Random Explorer says, GE is the Alabama wrecking machine. I agree. Young Murph, the Cut Man says, ask GE if he knows Deontay Wilder, heavyweight champion of the world. He's from Alabama too. I think you're muted, GE.
I don't know everybody in Alabama, so no.
How dare you? How dare you? Okay, you're at a minute and 15 seconds. He's already got the link.
Yeah, full-blooded Christian. We've sent it to you.
Oh wait. That's Pillbox.
Well, I mean, he can't figure out how to open up an email, so I don't think that he's going to be coming in here.
Oh man, if this is Pillbox, this is gonna this is gonna be entertaining if this is Pillbox. I seen him on I heard him on Brett Keen's stream a couple weeks ago with Von Helton talking about the flat Earth.
Somebody asked where I'm at in Alabama. I am in North Alabama.
Oh, man, I don't think I'm ready for this. This is a whole new level of. This is Pillbox. This is a whole new level of derp.
Oh, really? I have never heard of this fucker.
Like I said, I saw him in a Brett Keane hangout. 1 minute.
I mean, I don't know how he can't figure out how to open up a fucking email.
1 minute.
Oh, and for everybody in the chat and people who keep messaging me that I didn't send it, yeah, here. 4 minutes ago. 9:44, 1940 pillbox and whatever. There's this link. Now, of course,
Nobody
else use that link, please.
Listen, nobody thinks that we didn't send the actual link. Everybody knows that we invite them to come in. Like, we ain't running from nobody. That's one thing about this show is we don't run from nobody. So, all right, Pillbox, it's your time's up. Sorry, pal. I'm actually kind of happy that I didn't get to get sucked into that dirt hole.
I've been yearning for a dumpster fire, so I'm actually pretty sad. And as you were showing the email there, Dave, he was saying that you couldn't send an email. Like in the chat, he was like, "Still can't send an email." It's like we're showing you the email directly.
Yeah, you just saw that we sent it to you, dude. Like, what are you trying to do? I mean, do you honestly not think that we're gonna let you point us out to be a liar? Really? Okay, he says that you spend your life on the internet practicing pseudoscience, keep it committed. Where are you at, man? Why are you able to chat in the chat, but you're not able to? Fuck it. Look, we gave you your opportunity. It's over for you.
It's exactly what I said. They talk a big game in their groups on live chats or whatever. They talk up a big game, but when it comes down to actually defending their ideas, defending their points, like in person, they can't do it. They won't.
Sorry, buddy. You're like, we gave you the opportunity. You didn't want to take us up on it. Chris Berry, I'll join for a bit. Are you a flat earther? What do you think, GE? Do you want to close out, or do you want to let Chris Berry come in?
I mean, if Chris wants to come in for a quick chat, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, honestly, like I said, I've been really wanting one of these kind of chats, but nobody will talk.
Email Dave. Dave, put your email in the chat, please. And Chris, if you will email Dave, or Chris, if you'll put your email in the chat, we'll email you a link, whichever way you want to do it, and we'll get you in. Now, we're not going to wait forever, so click that link and come in. Some people just like to waste time too. Okay, he is a flat earther. Okay, cool. We'll give you a shot. Pillbox, man. Do you know who Von Hilton is, GE?
Yeah.
Yeah, him and
I've
Von
seen
Hilton.
I haven't done a lot. Huh?
Him and Von Hilton were talking about. Well, Von Hilton believes that the wildfires in California are set on purpose by a dark agency.
Great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like Chris Berry sent an email.
Sweet. Okay. We will just wait on Mr. Berry then.
I just sent the link. I got his message and I sent him a link. So we are actually in communication with this guy.
Good deal.
I was supposed to have On a Flirt for last night, but they didn't email me until like 11:25, and they just said, "I'm so sorry about tonight," and I'm like, "It doesn't help me now." Like,
Who was it?
Is this guy named Turk Life? TIRC?
Hello.
Turk Life.
Oh, Chris?
How you doing?
Hey, welcome.
Hey, what's up?
Just chilling, man.
Chris? Is this your all's what do you call it? Flatter day night fights or something like that?
Yeah.
Booty, did you say booty,
generally.
booty call? Yeah,
I
you could call it
wish.
that. We do it every Saturday night. Used to be we had several, people who believed that the Earth is flat, like lining up to come in, and then it got to a point now where it's you can't really get anybody to talk about the flat Earth anymore. So we're actually really glad that you're here.
Well, everyone, and it's on both sides. Everyone kind of runs in their own circles, right? I mean, flat
Sure.
stays with flat, ball stays with ball, mostly. So like I go to Nathan Oakley's show. I know you guys know him. I think he's been on here before. But I also go to Jose Gonzalez's show, and that's mostly ball people.
Hmm.
So I try and spread it around and talk both
Nathan was on
sides.
here. Sure. Nathan was on here last year, before we started doing Flat Earth Night. But he was on here once, right at the very beginning when we started. Hadn't seen him since, though. We've invited him to come since, but he doesn't like to move far away from that mute button. So it's really
Right.
we extended an invitation. But anyway, why don't you tell us what you think?
Well, excuse me. And by the way, I don't know how long I have. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe 30. I'll kind of
Fine.
let you know as it happens. But
Sure. No
so
problem.
I can give you a quick 60-second rundown of sort of my story. I'm 35. From as long as I can remember, as even being a kid, I never believed in God and considered myself an atheist. Even then, right? I mean, maybe then, when I was say 10, I didn't really know what that meant, but I never believed in God. And teenager through say 33 or so was an atheist. Read all the arguments. I was one of those. I laughed at it then. What they call militant atheists, right? You read all the Dawkins books and Hitchens, and you got your gun loaded, and ready to go. And so that was me. And then a couple years ago, I came across Flat Earth on YouTube, and it may have been Eddie Bravo. I don't remember if it was Eddie Bravo or YouTube suggestions, but somehow I came across it on YouTube, and started watching it, and I was like, this is nuts, right? I mean, it's not that I believed it right away, but there were some some questions that I had that things that didn't make sense to me. I'd been taught those things for so long, and so long story short, 3 months in, I took a break, and I was like, I just can't do it anymore. And then a month or two later, I kind of got back into it, and then I've been on it ever since. So that was about 2 years ago, a year and a half maybe. Um, and now I believe in a creator. I believe because it's potentially a logical fallacy I'm about to commit, but if the Earth was created as flat, or sorry, if the Earth is flat and we're in the center of everything and we're not moving, then it had to have been created, right? I mean, I don't believe there would be any natural cause of that. But that's, I guess, that you could say that's an opinion. But so that's my story. I now believe in at least some sort of creation with the creator. Doesn't necessarily have to be the God of the Bible or any book. But that's kind of what I believe now.
What is it about the flat? Like, what would you say the strongest evidence that we're living on a flat Earth is in the face of all of the evidence that we're living on a globe? Like, what was it that convinced you that the Earth is truly flat?
Well, that's a good question. And I mean, to me, things just made more sense on the flat Earth and what you might call flat Earth model. And not saying I have a flat Earth model necessarily 100%, but there are things you can point to and say that would say sort of go towards that model idea. Even though we don't live on a model, and models aren't technically true science, it's just sort of a way to sort of represent part of reality. But either way, so there's a couple things I go to. So one of the ones that really caught me early on was water always seeks and finds its level. And so there's no experiment that we can do to show water curving. Now, we are told water curves after a mile, right? It curves 8 inches the first mile, and the second mile it's squared, and third mile, et cetera, et cetera. But we can't prove that. We can't visibly show that, and we can't do any experiment to prove water bends. I've had people literally say, well, look, there's pictures from NASA. Well, to me, that's not proof, because pictures can be fake. So I don't use any pictures or video from flat earthers or globe earthers.
Okay. Sorry if I
Sure.
can interrupt real quick. So you're saying that we can't prove that water sticks to a ball is basically what you're saying?
I mean, you can say it that way.
Well,
Okay.
GE,
I mean, how do
do you
you,
remember?
well, I mean, how do you explain like water droplets on the outside of a bottle or on the underside lip of like a counter, or just the water droplets sticking to anything?
Well, water droplets or the amount of water necessitated to wrap around a ball the size of the Earth, like an ocean. Let's be very specific.
Okay. Well, in order to doubt that that is possible, you would have to assume that gravity doesn't exist. Are you starting from that position of of assuming that gravity
No,
doesn't exist, a real thing?
no, it's from the position that water always finds its level.
No, that's bullshit. I'm asking you directly, what do you think about gravity?
Well, I want to have a civil conversation, so I appreciate if you don't say that's bullshit. If you think it's, or if you do think it's bullshit, that's fine. But please explain, because in my research and in my experiment, or call it tests that I've done with water and the research on water, it is absolutely flat and level, or it seeks
We
its level. If it's
we have
up on a hill, it will flow down until it reaches equilibrium. So I have no
we.
proof.
So, are
I mean,
you telling me right now
GE,
you've done
do you remember?
huh?
Do you remember last 2 weeks ago when we had the guy that came on and he makes he has the company that makes the instruments that measures the, like, I mean, to a almost exact degree of the curvature of the ocean. His work depends on it. They do work with like disasters, and how that, like, if that's going to affect the coast of different places. They have these instruments in the actual ocean. He helped develop this technology that measures the curvature. I mean, in minute detail, and we had him on talking about that. Like, you can actually see the curvature measured in these instruments. It shows the water curving, and their work depends on it.
Yeah,
Right, it
okay. I
does.
mean,
But also, are you trying to tell me that you've done experiments with a planet-sized object where you have thrown water at it?
no, I didn't say that at all. I said I've done tests with water.
What are those tests?
Okay.
Well, just trying to manipulate it, putting it in various containers, bottles, vases, pools, things like
And
that,
and
above ground pools.
okay,
Hmm.
and so to you, that is tantamount to the size of the Earth and the effects of gravity given the Earth's size and its relation to water.
No, but what I'm saying is there's no experiment you can do showing gravity curves water. So the premise is that your idea that gravity does that is hypothetical.
Well, no, we can show how the Earth's curved by the like the ships going over the horizon,
Okay,
and so many other ways, including the ones
can we
that
stop? Can we
Kyle.
talk about that? So do you want to talk about ships disappearing?
Oh, I would love to talk about that.
Yeah, before you do
Okay,
that, Nathan, hold on one second. Nathan Thompson, I see you in the chat. I just saw that you wanted a link. Dave, we'll get you a link. Just leave your email in the chat. We'll get you in. So Dave, give Nathan a link. Okay, go ahead.
so that's a good claim, right? And that's actually a really good way to, well, that I believe, to prove the shape of the Earth. Because so one question I get a lot when I go to the ball community is, what's the test or an experiment we could do then to prove it? So I don't, like, again, I don't go to videos or pictures on either side because those could be faked. I don't go to the stars, sun, or moon because we don't know anything about that. As far as, we can't go there, we can't test it, we can't touch it, right? So one thing I think we can all agree on then is, if we do tests and observations over land and over water in particular, where it's claimed to be flat, due to the nature of water, that is the physics of water, then we can determine the shape, I believe, of the Earth. So a ship, if there is a ball, the ship will go around the curve. You're correct. If it's not a ball, then there's perhaps some other natural phenomenon that's going on that it's possible that makes it appear like it's going over the curve, but is not.
Okay. What phenomenon do you think makes objects disappear from bottom to top?
Refraction will do that.
No. Refraction will not do that.
Yes, it will. What will happen is refraction will create what I'm referring to from a non-technical term as a mirror, a band of mirror reflected water that starts to cover the bottom part of these boats before anything else. And what you can do is you can go to many videos of people that people have taken to observe these boats, and what will happen is as the ship goes away, this reflection due to refraction starts to appear, and you can see, there's angles that go into the water, so you can tell it's a mirror. Or if there's something at the top of, sort of say the middle of the boat that's not at the bottom, you'll see it soon reflected on the bottom due to the mirror. And as the boat goes further into the distance, there's a couple things at play. So that mirror range gets larger. So where it starts out kind of small, cutting off a little bit of the bottom. As you go further out, that mirror gets larger and it cuts off more of the bottom. Not only that, the atmosphere is a big part of it. The atmosphere, as you go further, you're seeing through more atmosphere, right? So as you're seeing through more atmosphere, it's harder to see those objects. So even then, the tops of these boats will start to disappear. But see, you have to be careful because they're disappearing into the atmosphere. They're not going over any curve.
Okay, they're not disappearing from all sides. They specifically disappear bottom to top. I would love for you to explain to me the intricacies of refraction and why it creates the mirror image that you claim that you say that it does. Because I'm not disputing that there is a mirror image as things go over the curve because of refraction. I don't dispute that, but it's because they're going over a curve that the refraction occurs. So please tell me, what exactly do you mean by refraction in the atmosphere as something gets farther away?
Sure. I mean, first of all, let's talk about what you just said. That's patently false. So if you're on a hot desert road, or a hot road on the desert, and it's flat, you're gonna see that mirror reflection, right? It's just due to the heat. It's due to the variance in temperature, and temperature and the particles in the air, atmosphere, if you will. So there's absolutely nothing that says you have to be on a ball or a curve to get refraction. Is that a fair assessment?
I specifically said that boats going over the horizon and the mirror image caused by refraction is because of the curve of the Earth. You're trying an equivocation thing by switching it to like a desert highway or something like that. That's not at all what I was talking about.
No, I'm saying that the refraction can happen on a flat surface.
Okay. Well, I mean, we were specifically talking about like boats on the ocean going over the curve. What you're talking about there has other factors that go into it that causes the refraction in the atmosphere, but it's still the same principle of light rays being refracted and bending the light towards the person that's viewing it. However it occurs.
Well, refraction can do a lot of things, right? So refraction is the cause of mirages, right? Am I correct in that statement?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so we have a couple of different types of mirages. We have superior mirages where the image is flipped up and inverted on its top, right? So it's above it, and we can demonstrate that and see that and observe that. That's called superior mirage. And we have what's called inferior mirage. This is more of what I'm talking about. An inferior mirage is a mirage that is flipped but below the object you're observing. So that's all we're talking about. And a second ago, you said that the curve causes refraction. Well, no, curvature isn't the cause of refraction. Light bending through a medium is the cause of sorry, not bending. Light through a medium is the cause of refraction.
How we doing, family?
Nathan, what's going on?
Hey, there's Nathan.
Welcome.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Chris.
We saw that you came. You've disproved gravity.
I don't need to disprove something that's never been proven. That's like saying I disprove Santa Claus and Bigfoot. You guys are a joke.
Hey,
Santa
Nathan.
Claus is real though. Santa Claus is real though.
Well, no, look, Nathan, that was the title of the video.
Yeah.
I said the BBC
So
debunked gravity, guys. I did not say Nathan
How did they do that?
debunked.
How did
Well,
the
they said
BBC
that
disprove
water
gravity?
They said water molecules travel up, apparently defying the laws of gravity.
What's the
No.
law of gravity, Nathan?
It's not a law. It's not even, dude, it's a joke. It's a vain religious superstition. Godless engineer, I would love to hear your scientific proof for gravity. Ready, go.
All right. Please tell me, Nathan, what is the law of gravity according to
Godless, I thought you
science?
could give proof of gravity. Now I'm telling you something.
What's the law of gravity according to science, Nathan?
You were going to give me scientific evidence for this nonsense, Godless. I thought I'm
Jesus
waiting.
Christ.
The entire audience is waiting. You've got 600 people here watching the show, Godless. Surely you're not going to fumble and not have any scientific evidence for G.
Just answer my question, Nathan.
Oh,
I can
now I
recite
need
it.
to answer
Can
your
you?
questions. All right, I'll answer your questions. Are you taking notes, Godless? Do you have a pen and paper?
I do.
Oh, yeah, he is. I'm taking
Hey,
notes,
can
Nathan.
I get a quick mic check? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
you
I
sound
can hear
good.
you, Team Skeptic.
Okay, good deal.
Go ahead.
Because I'm
Go ahead,
ready to
Nathan.
enter into this conversation.
Go ahead, Nathan.
50 seconds now. The entire audience, 600 people, are waiting for Godless Engineers' scientific proof of gravity. Ready, go.
I got
Nathan,
scientific.
you
Laugh?
have
You're gonna laugh? You think it's funny? You got 650 people watching your show. You're gonna laugh when I ask you for scientific proof of gravity, Godless? That's the best you can do is laugh?
no.
You
It's
just
not the
want him
best
to
I can
answer, or
do,
you
but
gonna
it
let me answer
causes
that?
me to laugh.
You just want him to answer that, or do you want me to answer that for you? Because I can
I was
answer that for you,
talking-
and for 700
Hold
people
on,
that
Team
are
Skeptic.
watching.
Hold on, Team
Yeah,
Skeptic.
great. Good, Team
Nathan,
Scientific
you
proof of
said that the law of gravity isn't a thing.
Godless
Please,
show.
Nathan, tell me, what is the law of gravity? If you can answer that basic question, I
Not a
will be
law,
happy.
retard. It's not a law. So you're begging the
Nathan,
question fallacy.
He said he
It's
would
not a
answer
law.
you. He said he would answer you, but he did. In all fairness, he said he
I
would
can
answer you,
answer
but
that.
you did ask. He did ask you a question first. So answer his question, and then he will answer yours. He will give you
I
proof.
can
just
answer
answered
it.
the question, Kyle. Not a law. He's
What is-
begging the question
what is gravity?
fallacy.
Well, what is
a
gravity
vain
first?
religious superstition that globeheads think causes all things to fall towards the center of Earth at a constant rate, despite the fact the equation for gravity has a inverse square law, which would cause a big problem for this constant of gravity because things should be getting exponentially lighter as they leave
Hey,
Earth's
you want me to
surface.
tell you where you're fucking wrong with that?
Are you
Hey,
inter-
you want me to
Let me
educate you
finish.
on a
Guys,
little
that's
something
what
there?
the
Hey,
law of
jackass,
gravity
hold
wants
on.
to
Hey,
do.
jackass, listen to me for a second. When you're
We're
talking
gonna
about
interrupt
100
you.
miles up
Listen to
above the
you.
Earth's surface, listen here, jackass. When you're talking about 100 miles up above the Earth's surface, you're talking about a difference of the distance between the center of
Nobody's
point of
been
gravity of
100 miles up.
6,371 kilometers versus 6,471 kilometers. That is not that big of a difference. Apply that to your inverse square law, and you'll have your fucking answer. You don't understand what you're talking about, and that's your fucking problem.
Team Skeptic, you
What?
said you had scientific proof. for
Yeah, hell
gravity.
yeah, I
Ready,
do. Hell
go.
yeah, I do. All right,
700
when you
people,
hey
700
objects and
people watching
objects in
this
free fall do not experience an accelerating vector because number one, they follow the laws of motion, which say that once they are in motion, they are experiencing an opposite and equal reaction of force. Correct. So, in other words, when you're driving forward in your car, you feel like you're being pulled backwards. Will you agree with that? Yes or no? Do you agree with that?
driving in my
No, oh, hey,
gravity.
shut up and just, shut up and
Wow.
answer me. You want your answer.
Scientific
You want your
proof
answer.
for
Hey,
gravity.
shut up and listen.
Start
You
with
want your
number
answer,
one.
and I'm going to walk you through your answer so you don't fucking misrepresent it moving forward, okay?
Yes.
So when you drop an object in free fall, if you have a density column and you drop that density column in free fall, it isn't a fucking density column. Do you know why this occurs? Do you have a fucking scientific answer for that? Because gravity is the reason that occurs. And there's no other way of explaining that fucking observational phenomenon that all you fucking ignorant pieces of shit want. There's your observational phenomenon, all right? Now deal with that. Answer me that.
Okay, let him answer. Let him answer.
Of gravity. Is everyone hearing this? You guys joking, right? Surely you're going to save these globe heads from the dropity that you believe is gravity, causing all things
prove him
to
wrong,
go towards
Nathan.
Prove me wrong.
Nathan. Prove him wrong, Nathan.
Prove you're wrong.
Prove him wrong.
You haven't proven anything. What's your observed
Bullshit.
natural phenomenon, Einstein?
I just fucking explained it to you. An object in free fall does not experience an accelerating vector for buoyancy to even work.
When
Fucking
is an object
idiot.
in free fall a natural phenomenon? When do you observe things naturally falling from the sky, Team Skeptic?
Yeah, when you observe them naturally falling from the sky, like in the Vomit Comet when it goes into free fall, correct? It loses its buoyancy. It loses its density vector, its buoyancy vector, to assign which direction heavier objects should be. That is your fucking problem. You guys have no fucking clue what you're talking about. You want to talk about buoyancy, but you don't want to talk about the accelerating force. So when you have an accelerating force going down, like gravity, and you're accelerating down, creating the opposite and equal reaction of acceleration in the opposite direction, those two accelerating forces combine and have a zero force. They combine and they equal out. And once you have that, apply that to your buoyancy equation and put 0 in there for G or A, and guess what you get? You get no buoyancy. And that's your fucking observational phenomenon right fucking there. Explain that without fucking gravity.
That's good, Team Sev. Hold on.
With your equation. Guys,
now answer it.
No.
Jump on with 700 people and say things fall down, and that's my scientific proof of gravity. Okay,
You're not listening to Nathan. Nathan, you're not listening to what he's saying. You're not listening to the thing he's saying. Listen to what he says.
Okay.
And respond to what he says.
Nathan, hold on.
Go ahead.
Now, I feel like we need to get on the same level here. Okay, Nathan, I understand that you don't think that the law of gravity is a thing. Okay, I get that you don't think that. I get it. Hold on, Nathan. Nathan, can you please stop for 1 minute, okay, bud?
Google it.
I get that you don't think that it's a law, but I'm just asking you point blank, can you recite the law of gravity for us? I will be happy if you can do that, Nathan.
Well, that depends. Are you globeheads believing in Newtonian gravity or Einsteinian gravity?
It doesn't fucking matter. There's a goddamn equation that explains both. You fucking ignorant idiot.
3-on-1 here. This is
Nathan,
pathetic.
it's really just a simple equation. I could tell it to you, but I want to know if you know it.
We gotta let him answer, okay? We gotta let him answer. So Nathan, will you please answer that question?
Yes, the law of gravity is not a law. It's a vain religious superstition where globies assign a vector down, which helium balloons don't go down, Team Skeptic, and then they say, look at everything falling down. That's the proof of gravity. Well, 1, we don't have an observed natural phenomenon. 2, you don't have an hypothesis linking an effect and a cause, and you don't have experimentation.
Do you really want to walk through this? Because I've been listening to Nathan Oakley talk about this misunderstanding of the scientific method all the fucking time. Let's talk about your misunderstanding now. My observational phenomenon is that when things are in free fall, when they are let go and dropped, listen. I just let you talk. Now you fucking let me talk. How about when a fucking apple falls from a fucking tree? Then it's in fucking free fall. Okay? So when an object is in free fall, it loses its directional vector for the buoyant force to work. That is something that we observe. We drop a density column in free fall, and nothing remains. Hold on. Nothing remains in order from most dense to least dense. It loses that order. Why is that? My hypothesis is that due to the third law of motion, for every action, that there's an opposite and equal reaction, in combined with an accelerating force that is accelerating the object towards the Earth. That's what my hypothesis is. That there's the reason we're losing this this density vector is because that there is a gravitational vector, an accelerating vector towards the Earth. It is observational, it's explainable, and now it's your turn to disprove it. Why do we
All right,
see
now
that if there is no gravity?
And Team Skeptic, let him answer without guys. Let him answer without anybody breaking in. Let's see if Nathan now prove what he just said wrong.
Yes, so he said when an object is more dense than the air or medium around it, it falls. That's our argument, relative density. He just attaches a downward force and forgets about helium balloons and everything else that rises upward when the medium is less dense. So gravity is nothing more than a fundy belief, guys. You still haven't given me scientific evidence for gravity. You're observing things falling and asserting a force. Well, helium balloons don't fall. They don't. So
Yes, they do.
guys-
Yes, they do. Put them in a vacuum chamber and watch them fall.
we don't
Nathan.
live in a vacuum chamber. We
We don't
live in a
need to
vacuum
live in a
Nathan.
vacuum
Natural
chamber. The
chamber.
same phenomenon
Nathan.
explains both.
Nathan, can you please
You guys,
explain
vacuums
the
are natural.
basics of the mathematics surrounding buoyancy and the buoyant force?
Excuse me, Godless? What was that?
I said, can you please explain the mathematics of buoyancy to me, like very basic level mathematics?
Yes, of course. When an object is in a medium that's less dense, it'll rise. And you guys think it's like anti-gravity or something. It's hilarious. So I'm still, guys, the scientific method's very clear. Observe natural phenomenon, form a hypothesis, experimentation. Where are you guys missing all this? Where is all this experimentation and
Because-
hypothesis?
Let me
No,
tell you
hold
what
on.
we're missing. We're missing your explanation for certain phenomenon that are absolutely observable, and you're jumping from point A to point Z without observing and accounting for points B, C, D, and all the way through Y. That's why we have a problem with what you're saying. You can't explain to me why a helium balloon goes up. You have no idea why it does. You just say it does. You say, oh, it's naturally. And God made it come up because God likes helium balloons more than he likes fucking oxygen.
God, dude. Nobody's talking about God. The balloon is less dense than the air around it.
And
So
what
when
does
you-
that matter? Density is nothing but an observable fucking property of an amount of matter in an amount in a certain amount of volume. Okay, so
and you
with
assert a
your
force.
density, I'm sorry.
And then
What'd
you
you
just
say?
assert a force when things fall down.
Okay,
and
here, let me
forget
ask you a question. I've got an idea. I have not proposed this to anybody yet, but I guess you're going to be the first jackass I propose it to, okay? So let me ask you, why do things fall? Why do you say relative density? Let's say we have an object that is less dense than another object, and we'll say they're liquid.
Why?
Hold on.
What do you, why? Why
Yeah,
do
hold
things
on,
fall
hold
down
on.
like
Hear me
clothes,
out.
bro?
Hear me
They
out.
go down.
Hear me out.
That's the way
Hear
they
me
go.
out.
They
They're
go
the
down.
same. Hear me out. They're the same. They're in a density column. Okay. You have the heavier on top, the more dense on top, and the less dense on bottom. They will naturally move positions. Correct? Can we agree on that? Yes.
Dude,
Okay.
you
Great.
doing-
You're going to agree. I'm just giving you the opportunity to agree. Yes, you agree. Okay. So if we take a less dense object and we put more of the less dense object on a balance beam, okay, and we have a more dense object on the other side of the balance beam, why will the less dense but more massive object push that balance beam down, even though the other side of the balance beam is more dense but less massive? Explain that to me if it's all about relative density.
So are you saying when you get more of stuff that goes down, why it weighs the same as a more
my
dense
God.
object?
You can't
Is
use
that
the
what you're
word weight. Weight and mass are two different things. You've already said that weight, that mass, weight is when a force acts on something. So when you have a bunch of less dense air, it's going to have more mass because gravity is pulling all of it down on top of each other. Okay.
Oh, gravity
So when you have two objects, right? One is less dense than the other, but there's more of it. Why will it cause a scale to tip on its side? We say it's because gravity is pulling on the whole object. No, we say gravity is pulling on the whole object. What does that have to do with anything? Your whole gravity is based on density and buoyancy. There's no, it has nothing to do with the amount of mass. It is completely based on density and buoyancy. Stop talking about there's more. I've already told you it's less dense on one side, it's more dense on the other. Why is the less dense being pulled down? Because there's more of it. Because mass is affected by gravity. The force being pulling down on the more massive but less dense object is greater than the force pulling down on the more massive but less dense object. And that is why the scale will tip, even though the relative densities are different. Why is that? Why do you say relative density for one explanation, but then you can't use relative density in the other one? But we can use gravity for both.
Relative density, when you get more of it, it can weigh the same or more than a denser object, Team Skeptic. That's
what the fuck does weight have to do with any of this? That's what you keep saying. You keep saying weight like it's fucking just naturally weighs. No, it doesn't naturally weigh. It needs a fucking force pulling it down. Otherwise,
right?
it's just densities. One is more dense than the other. According to your description, it should be pulling it down because that's how they organize themselves.
Let me interject real quick.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so why things the buoyant force is pretty easily explained here, and I was trying to get Nathan to explain it in a way, but he didn't actually explain it in any kind of mathematical sense. So for any object's relative position, wherever it's at, like in the universe or on the earth or whatnot, its position is a function of the forces that are acting upon it. This is basic laws of motion kind of shit. So the buoyant force is the force that is pushing up on an object, and then there's also forces that are pulling down on the object, regardless of what you want to call it, either gravity or not. When the summation of those two particular forces is equal to 0, you have the object just not reacting, like it's staying still. When the force that is pushing up, the pressure or whatever that is pushing up on an object, overcomes whatever force is pulling down on the object, that's when things rise. When things fall, it's when the force that is pulling down on the object overcomes the force that is pushing up on an object. This is what I was talking about when I was asking for a mathematical explanation of it. Just a very simple way to explain why things. So my question is, in order for anything to make sense in this conversation, we have to have a basis for you at least knowing like what the mathematical formula for gravity is, because on the normal model, the globe model, you have to take that into account for the effects that we say are there. Now, the mathematical formula, regardless of whether or not you know it, the mathematical formula, is there anything that formula cannot predict?
It's a reification fallacy. You're trying to prove gravity with a formula or a concept. Do you know what a reification fallacy is, godless engineer? Yes. Godless engineer, do you know what a reification fallacy is?
It's not a reification fallacy, and you're just dodging the question here. My question to you is there any, name one certain situation where the mathematical law, the mathematical equation for gravity does not work? Please name one situation where it does not work.
Reification fallacy, you're trying to use a man-made concept or formula to establish reality or prove something. It's a concept. It's not a proof. You haven't established gravity. You're just saying, look at my formula. It's what we observe in reality. That's, since you didn't know.
But Nathan, I just told you, I just gave you an example where if we had used no math whatsoever, it's complete observation. Complete observation. You cannot explain that without.
I told you.
I'm sorry, you told me what? There's more what?
So if
no. I'm not even talking. Okay, no, you don't have an answer for that. That's understandable. What I'm talking about is the observable phenomenon of things in free fall losing their buoyant force. Why do things in free fall lose their buoyant force?
So wait, nothing's in free fall. You mean when an apple falls from a tree. Is that
No,
what you
I'm
mean?
talking. Okay, hold on. Listen, free fall is defined as just falling without a force pushing it, without a force giving it any direction. It's you let go of something in the direction it goes. We're just going to call it that, okay? We can argue semantics later. Listen, we can argue semantics later. You want to get into this, finding your loophole out of it, that's fine. But have some intellectual honesty just a bit. Hey, listen, I'm giving you the question you asked for. I'm giving you that, and you're dodging it, okay? You said the observable phenomenon. If we go up into fucking an airplane and it does the hyperbola, the vomit comet, when it goes into free fall, okay, you can hold a gravity column and see that nothing, or a density column and see that nothing is organized by their densities. It's completely mixed, okay? Now, if it's just density and buoyancy, why is that occurring?
So you're telling me you can get in a man-made airplane and observe things in free fall. Is that an observed natural phenomenon, buddy? Or
yes, it is. Yes, it is. No, it's an observable natural phenomenon. Yes, it is. It's an observable natural phenomenon. Yes, it is. You don't have to get in a fucking plane, dude. Listen, you don't have to get in a fucking plane. You can tie it to a fucking tree and wait for it to fall naturally, and the same exact observation is going to happen. So there you go. There's your natural observation. You can do it with your phone. You can do it with your phone, dude. They have accelerometers you can get for your phone, and you can drop your phone, and you can watch the accelerometer in your phone go to 0.0 meters per second squared.
The whole time. Are you gonna let me get a word in?
Stop avoiding my questions.
Density. Hey, buddy, relative density works the same on both models.
No, it does not. I just gave you an observation where relative density does not work. And how do you explain that?
You're asserting a force. That's it.
No. I did not. Hey, hold on. I did not. I made an observable phenomenon that debunks what you just said. In free fall, a density column loses its any direction for it to align itself and becomes completely mixed. How do you explain that? If gravity is nothing but relative density, how do you explain that?
Because the objects are falling. Why would you?
Oh my God, that doesn't fucking matter, dude. Why do you keep saying that has anything to do with anything whatsoever? If you're saying that they're falling, then I'm telling you, you're proving me right.
They don't separate out. We're on a ball. And gravity's real. They don't separate out.
Go childish with it as much as you want. Go childish with it as much as you want, man. I don't care. You're making me look really good, and I appreciate that.
Team Skeptic
Thank you.
has to censor me. He has to talk over me over and over because he doesn't want the audience hearing the Earth's not a spinning globe and gravity's a religion.
No, nobody wants to hear your childish shit. You want to talk about censoring, Nathan Thompson? You know I got kicked out of your fucking Facebook group. Your Facebook group is the reason I started my channel, because you know what? You guys don't want to hear fucking truth about nothing. About zero. That's exactly what you guys do. That's what y'all stand for.
They don't separate. They don't separate.
Go back to being a kid, man. I'm gonna let you talk now so everybody can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, let him talk. Let him talk.
We're the spinning ball. I gotta talk over Nathan all the time. I gotta talk over him because I don't want people to hear what he says.
So that's
because I gotta censor
that's
him
the evidence.
because I'm scared.
There you go.
That's his answer to my observation.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his answer to my observation. He has no answer, and he's gonna just go full blown kid on me. Full blown 9-year-old right here. Good job, Nathan. With what, 700-800 people watching?
Can you refute him?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Team Skeptic, my son's 9 years old, and he doesn't act like this. I'm just saying.
I'm so sorry. Then you're a 4-year-old. You're a 4-year-old. You're acting like a 4-year-old. Stop acting like a 4-year-old. Act like the man that you think you are.
Nathan, can you refute what he said?
All learned when 4 years old. So
can you refute what he said, Nathan? Nathan, can you refute what he said? I'm interested.
What he said, that 4 years old?
Yeah. No, not that you're not 4 years old. About everything that he said about gravity. Can you refute any of it?
When you're in free fall, they don't separate out because they're also falling.
Oh my! You're not explaining it. You're just saying that. Why?
Okay,
I explained
for a second.
why. Why?
Let me stop for a second. Chris, you're still on the line. I wanted to give you a chance to say goodbye because you said you're heading out. If you want to do that now, can plug your channel or
Hey,
whatever.
yeah. Oh yeah, cool. Thanks. No, a bunch of people in the chat were asking if I was still on, and I said I
he
was.
hung on.
Obviously, this was originally scheduled for Nathan Thompson and I guess Team Skeptic, or I thought it was with Godless
No.
Engineer, but either way, yeah, no, it was cool. So I was a little nervous to join. I've seen your all show before. I'm definitely not. I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional engineer or anything, but I have done a lot of research. So I appreciate you having me on. And
Yeah,
you have my
We'll
email,
have you
so
back.
shoot me in. And
Sure.
yeah, we'll
You're
schedule
welcome.
maybe a maybe
All
a
right, man.
specific
Take care.
topic, like boats going over the curve.
Can do. Take care, man.
See ya.
Okay.
Okay.
Nathan, what were go ahead, G.
Well, I was just gonna say that he says that the globe model doesn't work. Nathan, you say that the globe model doesn't work, and I was simply trying to do, like, I understand that Team Skeptic is trying to speak more on an observational level, but I feel like if you want to disprove the globe model, you have to use the mathematics that the globe model uses. So in order for you to say that the globe model doesn't actually model reality, I feel like you would have a better chance at objectively proving it if you could tell us, like, where, like, at what values for the equation for the force of gravity, what values do not match actual reality. Because if you just say any values, then we can actually test that and we can show how false that is. So I'm just asking, like, that's all I was asking. And the fact that you can't answer my questions or Team Skeptic's questions, I mean,
we give Nathan, we give you the opportunity to talk, but you're not saying anything. You're not answering the question. Can you?
Fallacy is, he's basically saying, I have a formula and it works. Dude, you haven't proven the force in the formula.
No,
you haven't proven.
Technically, I'm saying that we have a formula and it predicts what we see in reality. That's what I'm saying.
Reification fallacy. I have a formula and it matches reality. Dude, you don't know what a reification fallacy is, Godless. How pathetic.
No, I'm saying that the formula hasn't been disproven. And so in order for you to say that gravity doesn't exist, that formula wouldn't work. Why are you yelling at your dick right now?
Can you prove it? Can you disprove it, Nathan?
Fallacy. Do you not get that? Saying my
It's not a reification fallacy, Nathan.
Yes, you have a formula where you beg the question with G in the formula, which hasn't been proven. Then you go, look, Nathan, my formula, it matches reality.
You're doing some Nathan Oakley. You're doing some Nathan Oakley shit. You're doing some Nathan Oakley. But you can't disprove it. That's the point. Can you disprove? Can you show where it's wrong? Can you show where that formula is wrong?
Say that it's wrong, Kyle. Did you hear?
I know you said that it was wrong.
It's wrong.
Okay. Well, then what's the issue? What's the issue?
It's a reification fallacy. You're begging the question in the equation. You assume G in the equation. Do I need to say it again slower?
You know why it works, Nathan? Do you know why it works, Nathan? Because you can make predictions based on the way that we formulate gravity.
Kyle, do you know what a reification fallacy is? Do you know?
No.
Because now you're using the same shit Godless Engineer used. What a joke.
No, I don't know what a reification fallacy is. I don't.
Scientists? You guys call yourself researchers?
I do not.
And you don't even know
I do not. No, I do not. Never called myself a scientist. I don't know what a reification fallacy is.
Well, don't try
I don't
and
know
argue science if you don't even know what it is.
But I know what gravity is, and I know that it works. Do you have a model, Nathan? Let me ask you this: do you have a flat Earth model?
We don't live on a model. They all took you and brought you to school when you're 6 years old.
So you don't have a model.
Are you going to interrupt me again? Dude, no, I don't have a model. You all are the ones
you don't have a model.
You live on a model where
how can you say about
Nathan
the globe Earth when we have a model that works and makes predictions? It's testable.
We have a model.
And you don't even have a model.
Reify our model. No, Nate, we have a model. We can reify.
Nathan, do you know what a model is? We're not talking about like a little model of a dollhouse model. Do you know what a model is? Define what a scientific model is.
Does the heliocentric model have an atmosphere that touches the vacuum of space? Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's the second law of thermodynamics
Oh,
violation.
you're one of those guys. You're one of those guys. Okay, so tell us then, Nathan, what's the second law of thermodynamics and how does it apply to the Earth's atmosphere, please? In the heliocentric model, let's go ahead and show you where you're wrong again.
Team Skeptic, you don't know what the second law of thermodynamics
I
is?
didn't. Hold on. No, we didn't. Don't put words in my mouth. Don't strawman me. I said you explain to us what your concept of the second law of thermodynamics is.
Okay. High pressure systems or high energy systems move to low energy systems. So
you have no
if you
fucking
had
clue what you're talking
Hey,
about.
dude, you're talking over me.
Go
Let
back.
me finish explaining what it is. Okay? So high pressure systems move to low pressure systems. High energy systems move to low energy systems. So if you have a 10 to the negative 17 torr vacuum of space next to our pressurized atmosphere that we all enjoy.
Right. Good deal. I'm glad. So now we get to show you how fucking wrong you are. Yeah, I am, because you're already wrong. You're blowing in your car thinking that the same atmospheric pressure is down here at the surface of the Earth as it is 100 kilometers up. No, that's what you just fucking asserted with your fucking blowing it.
Do you know what a reification fallacy is, though, Team Skeptic?
Right, exactly.
Reification
So,
proves
okay, so
flat
you
Earth.
do know there's a gradient. So where do you think this gradient stops? When do you think it stops? Do you think it doesn't? It doesn't just go up. No, does it at the? No, I'm not asking a location. I'm asking a numeric value. What is the numeric value at which it stops at? Because we can predict where it's going to.
Where the atmosphere ends, and I told you it ends.
And I told you, give me a numeric value. Since you're throwing numeric values around, the 10 to the negative 17 torr, blah, blah, blah. Since you're throwing those around, tell us what the fucking atmosphere stops at on the Earth and why is there a gradient?
Well,
exactly. You don't have a fucking answer for that one either, do you?
Yeah, I do. Dude, you just gonna interrupt me, dumbass? Less dense elements rise. So hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium, scanadium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc, gallium, germanium.
How fucking nice that you can take the time to memorize the fucking periodic table of elements, but you can't fucking learn the fucking buoyancy equation?
I'm still giving you.
Hold on, Nathan, can you get out a hammer and balance a ping pong ball while you do that?
Less dense particles, so there's a pressure gradient. A spray paint can has a pressure gradient inside. That's why you have to shake it. It's always in a container, Team Skeptic. Because
okay, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this natural observation. Let me tell you this natural observation. What happens when we put sulfur hexafluoride in a container and we leave the top open where the heavier sulfur hexafluoride? Hold on. Shut up and listen to me. There is no container top on it. Okay, there is no container top on it. You put the sulfur hexafluoride inside there, and according to your law of second thermodynamics, there should be the higher pressure pushing the sulfur hexafluoride out into the lower pressure atmosphere. But guess what? It doesn't do that either. You know why? Guess why, Nathan? Because of gravity, you dipshit.
Wow. Reification fallacy. It's gravity. Wow, beautiful.
Oh, what is it then? What is it? Why are we having two separate pressure systems right next to each other with no container? How is that possible?
You literally said
We're gonna start rolling up.
You put it in a container.
No, it's not in a container. No, it's not in a container. It's air is sitting right next to sulfur hexafluoride and it's not mixing. How do you fucking explain that?
Hey, when they wheeled the sulfur hexafluoride.
That's right. You don't have a fucking answer.
When they wheeled the sulfur hexafluoride into the room, was it in a container?
When they took the top off, was it not contained? Was there two separate pressure systems? Tell me that, Nathan. You just made that fucking assertion. Was there not two separate pressure systems sitting next to each other without a fucking container separating them? Was there not? Yes or no?
Is a fish tank a container, Einstein?
Yes or no, Nathan? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, well then there you go. Your fucking argument means shit. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. You just admitted it right here in front of 700 people. Thank you very much. It's about time. Now we can get to gravity at some point. We can get you to admit that you're wrong about that.
Wait, no, you can't, because it's still in a container. You put
You just
the
no,
solar
it's not. There are
energy-
no. Now you're just being a dishonest liar. Okay, don't be a dishonest liar. I don't care how much of a jackass you are. Don't be a dishonest liar. Because you know what? You have two pressure differentials touching each other, and they're not mixing. Why? This is your second law of thermodynamics. This is everything you think you know about everything. Why are they able to sit there? Why is the higher pressure not pushing into the lower pressure like you say it should be doing?
Because there's a gradient. Okay, you're
Oh
not
my
next
God,
to
you're
a
so fucking stupid. You're so stupid.
vacuum.
That's just the bottom line. You're dumb. You're dumb.
It's just a matter
I was trying to give you the
guys.
benefit of
I
the
got
doubt,
700
but there
people
is
in
no
here
doubt
watching.
there is no
You guys
doubt
don't have
anymore.
any proof. You're
All
on
right,
a
we're
big
gonna-
ball, and all you do is say things go down, Nathan. And we have equations with G in them. We beg the question with G. So Nathan, I have an equation. It matches reality. It's
Okay.
a real equation.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna let you guys. We're gonna let you guys make a closing statement. We're gonna let you make a closing statement. Okay. Nathan, do you have any last words? Oh, let me finish your last words for you. Sorry about that, but
Did he leave?
No, he didn't leave.
I don't think so.
I wanted to finish his. I wanted to do his last minute statement for him. Nuh-uh, reification fallacy. Nuh-uh. All right, Team Skeptic, your final words.
Well, I've been waiting for this for a while now because I wanted to address him on his when he said, "Oh, you're censoring me by talking over me." That bullshit. I don't give a fuck what you think, Nathan. The problem is you and your entire fucking movement are a bunch of fucking censors. That's all you want to do. You just want to censor the truth, put your fingers in your ear, close your eyes, and run your mouth. You guys don't know what you're fucking talking about. We showed that only has Godless Engineer showed it before, but I just showed it again. Okay, it's time for you to fucking stop being a stupid fucking piece of shit dipshit and learn some science. Stop quoting the second law of thermodynamics until you know the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, other than that, I'm Team Skeptic. Kyle, thank you so much for having me on today. Godless Engineer, congratulations on your wedding, man. I love both of you guys. Y'all should know this by now. I already said that I think that Godless Engineer and Caitlin Chloe were the second greatest couple on the internet, only behind Kyle and Steve.
We would go to get married, and he would literally at the altar say, "What do you mean by I do?" Or what is your definition for do? The definitions from GE. Your wrap up.
Well, yeah, I'm just kind of curious, Team Skeptic or Kyle, like, was I like wrong in asking him for like mathematical equations and shit? Like, do you think that was like the wrong? Huh?
Well, yeah,
yes, because of the
you were
reification.
because yeah, exactly.
Reification.
But to answer it seriously, no, you're not. Because here's the thing: math is the only proof out there. There is no other proof. There is no such thing as scientific proof. There's only a scientific body of evidence that we say it's beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is the reason that this is being caused. Okay, so the only way to prove that is, like you said, with math. So that's what a model is. A model says, given this circumstance and this amount of time, or whatever the case may be, we predict this result. Now, if our model is incorrect, then that means at some point our prediction is not going to make sense. And at that point, we have to throw that model out and go back to the beginning, go back to what was working and work back from that point and figure out not only why we were wrong, but how we can be more correct. So no, you're not wrong. And yes, when they talk about Newton's law of gravity and then they turn around and talk about Einsteinian's general relativity, the thing is that the math doesn't change. That's not what was discussed. That's not what was changed. The mathematical relationship discusses two different bodies of mass at a certain distance, and then we make sense of that relationship with the gravitational constant. So that's how, and that mathematical formula makes sense every time we do it. There's not a single time when we do this, when we have these objects and we can fill all these variables in and not get the answer that we observe in reality. So until then, gravity is gravity. It exists. And the moment that we drop something and it doesn't go down anymore because with no additional forces on it, then we'll look back and go, we got that wrong. There's something about this that we're not seeing. But for our current understanding, there is no better explanation as to what is going on than Newton's gravity for the mathematical side and Einstein's relativity for why Newton's gravity mathematical equations work.
Nuh-uh.
Well, to summarize mine, I felt like holding him to the fire on the mathematical concepts was important because I don't think that he actually understands these principles, at least to the point where he can actually say that they don't exist or they don't happen. Because, see, the thing with mathematical principles or formulas or whatnot, you can actually test those and show how they don't like map to reality. Like if they truly don't represent reality, all you have to do is find the right combination of values and insert them in it, and you will get values that are different than what we actually observe. And I feel like you have to start off from that kind of base level if you want to say, hey, gravity doesn't exist. And I have yet to find a flat earther that can accurately use the globe model in order to disprove the globe model.
Right.
Because,
right.
like,
Which
Base level.
That's what we were talking. That's what I said in the comments earlier. It's the flat earthers, their way of thinking is unfalsifiable. You can never tell them anything that's going to convince them that they are wrong. They just will not accept it, no matter what. They'll always come. They'll relative density, and you say, well, what about this? Well, that's because they're all falling. Well, why does that make a difference? We can tell. I can tell you why that makes a difference with gravity. I can tell you, explain, and show you mathematically, observably, and we can make predictions based upon these observations. And sure enough, everything I predict will come out the way I say. All you can just do is say, oh, because they're all falling. What the fuck does that even mean?
Let's read these super chats off real quick, and then we'll tell everybody good night. Guys, thank you for coming in, Team Skeptic. But we'll give you the last word here in just a second. Pizza Person Pepper says, you're taking my super chat virginity. Be gentle. Never. Unapologetically atheist. No fun. I would have twerked. Ricky Bobby, if you ain't round, you're flat. Scrat the Skeptic Squirrel says, if you look the two words up, level and flat, have completely different meanings. That is true. The Random Explorer, oh hell, we have a dumpster fire. That's for damn sure. Xantar2482 says, ask Nathan where his father is. Ooh. 0132132. I have footage of helium balloons losing buoyancy in free fall. Nathan is wrong as fuck. Jen Morgan says, Nathan is back in D Marble's car again, D, nighttime, buddy, I guess. But still, Nathan, your God is only slightly more unreal as you. Matt Pexon says, the Flurfs have burden of proof, so prove it, stupid. The Athens 619, mic drop for Father Skeptic. Wriggles World, can Nathan explain heavier than air flight? Johan Roderick says, does Nathan know what kind of fallacy he is? Can he please explain that math? That's funny. 0132132. Pro tip, people that don't think math is useless can throw away 666 to say something snarky because they earn more than minimum wage. Oh, burnt. Matt Pexon, the Fervors have no model, period. All they can do is tack the globe model. Sad. You heard Nathan admit himself that they don't have a model. Johan Roderick says buoyancy equals dropity plus Jesus divided by God, Nathan's math. Again, he says Nathan Thompson equals hashtag bitchmade. Pro Gunner, Nathan is off his meds, hashtag meltdown. What up, godless? Johan Roderick says dumpster, forest, fire. And lastly, Stephen Langford, welcome to the dumpster fire. You got there, Kyle and co. God damn. Yes, we certainly. Who's lighting up?
Oh, that's
B-Ball for Life. B-Ball for Life didn't say anything, but thank you for the super chat.
Back and forth and everything like that. But I mean, it's right around 9.8 meters per second.
Hey, Godless Engineer, can you do me a favor? Can you take that up about 2 inches and just bring your hand down at just 2 inches down, just so we can keep the numbers. When you bring that down and you accelerate towards the ground, that number should drop.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, and by the way, Team Skeptic says, B-Ball for Life said, yo, Skeptic, that was beautiful. You scienced the shit out of him. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, see, there it goes down to 9.5. It's hard to do it, but The thing is, that's how we know, and that right there is how we know. That is the observable phenomenon right there that Godless Engineer has that shows you that gravity does exist, that there is an accelerating force pulling down. In fact, if he was to turn that phone sideways, I don't know if it reorients itself or not, or if it does it on the X.
It does.
The X and the Y should change, and the Y should be 0, and the X should be at 9.8.
So here's X, and then I can't show Z because Z is kind of like laying
Z
flat on its back.
Yeah,
but here's
Z would
X.
Z would be if you turned your phone sideways and started driving with it in a car, you would see your acceleration on that you're driving in the car. Which, if you take all of those numbers right there, for my math nerd friends like myself, if you take all of those fucking numbers right there, you can actually like predict which or mathematically calculate the vector at which buoyancy will align itself. So if you have a fish tank, or how about this, a helium balloon inside of a car, you can use those numbers right there to measure out and calculate out at what angle the helium balloon will lean forward when you accelerate at a certain rate. Can't do that just saying relative density, buoyancy. Fucking
reification.
Idiot.
Well, I mean,
Kristen
you know,
Forrest
Nathan tonight,
oh, go ahead.
he couldn't even explain mathematically explain like why buoyancy occurs. Like I can't take people seriously when they don't have a basic understanding of these concepts. Like I don't expect like a deep knowledge of it. I just would expect them to like know the formula for gravity or know like how forces are interacting with when buoyancy comes into play. I mean, if he would just look at the actual calculations for buoyancy, he would see a little fucking G right there that represents goddamn gravity.
That's right.
I expect it deep. Let me just say that. Let me read this last super chat and we'll close out for the night. Kristen Forrest Laserbeam says, "Beer money, you guys need some now." Thank you very much. So Team Skeptic, thank you again for coming in. GE, always a pleasure. We'll be back next week. The counter has started, so next week will be 7 days with people being bitch made. If you are not bitch made, you're watching this later on, and you'd like to come on, please send me an email at live@nonsecshow.com. That's NONSEQ show.com. Chris said he might be interested in coming back. We'll see if that is the case. And Team Skeptic will let you. Actually, GE, do you have anything coming up in the week that you want to let people know about?
We're going to be back to our normal, Tuesday Bible studies. So there'll be that, and just anti-resurrection shit for this month. That's pretty much what I'm focusing on.
Excellent. And Team Skeptic, you get the last word. Take us out.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know yet that me and Fight the Flat Earth actually started a second channel together called Science or Satire. And we're basically, it's a little bit different. We're going to be taking more of a satirical look at science, at some of these pseudoscience claims, as well as we're going to be having guests on for interviews. We have a segment we've done 2 shows, and we have a segment that's really fucking popular. It's called My Buddy's an Idiot. So everybody in the chat says, "My buddy's an idiot because this," and we read it out. So you guys should check us out. Like I said, it's Science or Satire. You can find us on the YouTubes, just Science or Satire, and subscribe. It'd be fun.
Excellent. All right, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with Mr. Atheist. We're going to be taking a look at something hilarious, so you're not going to want to miss it. And we have some 2 interesting guests that will be with us tomorrow. So make sure that you join us for that. If you ever wondered the answer to this question, how can you milk gold from Satan's tit? I have a guy that will show you. More on that next week. Good night, everyone.
I like gold. Can we get some gold?
I like tits.
This is true. Good night, everyone.